to turn my YouTube audio off so I don't make a bunch of terrible feedback like I usually do.
You should make a post about us going live.
That's what I'm going to do right now. You know I was going to do that?
It's almost like you know what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's almost like he has a routine.
Join us.
No.
Live on YouTube now. Hit the link in bio. We're here with Aaron Horne. Ryan's somewhere. He's fucking around with a trailer or something.
I don't know what he's doing.
Hop on in the chat. He'll pay. I mean, it's fine.
I know I'll pay.
Yeah, I was on that for sure.
What's going on? Good to see you.
You got your trailer.
Yeah.
You got your widow trailer.
Oh my God, he put the ladder on the thing. I said,
Oh, the widow ladder.
Oh, you got the widow ladder on the widow trailer? Yeah.
That's a big thing in 3D printing, the widow ladders.
Oh, the widow. I've had a lot of people ask me to do the widow ladders.
Yep.
Yep. The widow ladders for the Subarus.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Widow ladder with the magnets to put on the Jeep trucks and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. Aaron, you want a drink or anything?
Yes, please.
Do you like Sam's Hazies?
Yeah.
I probably have other options in the fridge out there if you want something different. Wait, Fiddlehead, we have Sam. Just give the IPAs.
Just give me something. I'm not picky.
Cold and wet. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much the prerequisites.
I should go re-up this cooler. So we're prepared.
It was a while, John.
What? It was a while.
Yeah, a while after.
I mean, they may have asked you. We didn't have YouTube when you had the last time.
No.
So, that's going to be, I was saying, that's going to be really cool.
That's what I was
For the
saying to John
YouTube
too.
stuff.
I was like, yeah, because you guys got the visual
Yeah.
now. I was like, that's some things just don't translate like that. You know, we're trying to describe stuff, and yeah, it'll be interesting. You know,
Yeah.
I like that added layer of a little complexity to it.
Try to drive people there. But like, you got to go to the YouTube, see all the cool shit.
Yep. Yep.
Ryan, I've sticking a couple of your things in here too.
Yeah, that's
I'll have
fine.
them on deck.
Thanks.
You want to switch the camera, Mark?
I'm gonna make some noise.
Maybe, if you're lucky. I was just finishing my live post.
Yeah,
Didn't-
still doing that?
It didn't. I shut my app and then it didn't do the thing, so I just had to reopen it to let it
Oh,
finish.
stop! I don't care.
I have some of the best news to talk about in a minute.
Good.
I'm so excited.
You gonna forget the whole intro? Or?
I'm gonna get there. I'm letting it just marinate for a minute.
That's fine.
Hello, hello. I'm John Stairs. You're listening to Topics Under the Stairs. As always, I'm joined by Ryan and Mark.
Hello there.
How we doing?
Tonight we have a very special guest, a repeat guest. Our friend Aaron Horne is with us again.
What's up, everybody?
Aaron was here 2 years ago, roughly, we determined. If you're a newer listener, go back and check out the first time he was on. But Aaron fully embodies all of the things that this show is about. He makes a ton of awesome stuff from scratch. He researches stuff and builds stuff and goes to special events, and does a lot of cool, exciting things. And it's just literally a perfect example of all the stuff we like to talk about on this show. So I'm pumped to have you back on.
I'm glad to be here.
Before we dive into what Aaron's been up to, we're going to hit our normal weekly things. First and foremost, check out revivalmotoring.com for all the updates about the network. You can check out us here at Topics Under the Stairs, the Revival Motoring Show, and our friends at Loose is Fast. There's new episodes weekly, YouTube footage of each episode, other miscellaneous content created amongst the 3 shows. Now that it is the car season, Revival Motoring especially has been hitting it hard. Josh has been shooting a ton of stuff every week. It's like a new, exciting thing. There is a new feature on the website going back to the early days, reminiscent of Gangsta Out, if anyone remembers that.
Oh, boy.
There is a blog, again, on Revival Motoring. There's a blog with the photo shoots that Josh does. So if you see a car on the Instagram that you like, there'll be a link in bio to a full set of photos instead of just 1 or 2 things. You can take a deep dive and see a full photo set, just like the old days. So it's very exciting. I'm glad he brought that feature back on the website.
Bring it back.
Big shouts to our friends at Cardinal Creative Agency that really made all of the web stuff possible through the website, and they've helped streamline and improve and maintain the website for many years for Revival Motoring. And it's pretty great. It all works excellent. And check it out. Hope you like it. And while you're on the website, you can check out the merch store. There is a bunch of cool gear on there. If you don't want to buy a shirt, that's okay. You can check out another thing we have called Bucks for the Boys.
Bucks for the boys!
Bucks for the Boys. It's going to have to buy me a new coaster because I almost lost that one. Bucks for the Boys is our value for value method that helps keeps the lights on here at the studio, pay for our server fees, and all the overhead here we have at the Revival Motoring Network. It does cost money to produce 3 podcasts under one network. There is gear, there is computers, there is cloud storage. Everything's in the cloud. The cloud costs money to store stuff up there. It's like a big...
I thought nature made those for free.
No. This is like one of those, you store stuff here clouds. And you need to pay the money
Nature's
to keep...
anti-technology.
You
Yes,
got to
in
keep
there.
the files in the cloud to make it go on all the things, and all that stuff costs money.
Mm-hmm.
And we all bullshit for 2 hours a week, which equals 6 to 8 hours a week once you add the 3 shows together. And all that stuff is expensive. And we don't ask for much. If you're a listener of one of the shows every week, one of the shows every month, a couple of the shows a month, whatever it may be, sacrifice 1 coffee a month.
Combination thereof.
Not even.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 a month.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like literally sacrifice a coffee a month
Yeah.
and donate a few bucks to the boys. And it just is an automatic payment. You don't even think about it. It's a lot cheaper than Netflix or something.
Say, or you don't even have to sacrifice the coffee. You could drink the coffee while also donating.
You could drink
Yeah.
you could drink 5 coffees a day and
Yeah.
still donate if you
Correct.
wanted to. I don't care how you do it. But all those little donations help. And while you're at it, it gets you entered in the Bucks for the Boys raffle, which is pulled the first Wednesday of every month on the Revival Motoring Show. And you get a swag package of sorts. This month, it has been a detailing bucket, I believe.
Oh, sweet.
I think that's what it's going to be
That's what's
for
up.
the next few months at least. During this lovely spring and summer car season, you get a detailing bucket kit. Previously to that, it was our friend TD's making some leather goods, some custom leather hangers and keychains. So either way, you get entered to win. Your chances are pretty good. We all know people who have won. Mark's own family has won. So if you donate to Bucks for the Boys, you're in the club and you can win. Besides that, that's all I really got for network updates.
All right.
Coming up whatever the first Sunday in June is, that's the next donut meet. Join us here in East Providence. Message us for the address if you want to come to the donut meet at the Revival Motoring HQ. They've been doing well. I'm excited to go to this next one because I'll actually be in town for the first
I
time
know
in
it's been
2
like
months.
on odd days that I'm not around.
Yeah, same. So that's that. You guys got any callbacks?
No.
I do. If you are listening to this on YouTube, Sunday is the Classicer.
Luft Classicer. We had Blake on, did a whole episode pretty much on Luft Classicer. He was on Revival talking about Luft Classicer. It is the premier air-cooled only indoor show in Tiverton, Rhode Island, in the Longplex Sporting Complex. It's too late for you to register now because you had to pre-register by May 13th. But if you want to go check out some sick cars, it's going to be all air-cooled Porsches and Volkswagens or air-cooled powered vehicles.
We've used air-cooled platform.
Air-cooled platform is the verbiage that he used.
There are a couple special vehicles coming.
Oh.
Yes, I know John Ludwig falls into the special category. He has some very neat air-cooled based vehicles with different bodies on them.
Correct.
But yeah, check out Luft Classicer at Luft Classicer on Instagram. It'll direct you to the website from there.
We had a really good last week of registration push and really got those numbers up. So
Got to pump those numbers.
It's going to be a good showing, I think.
Yep. Yeah, there's going to be over 100 cars in there. If it's going to be a sucky weather day, it doesn't matter.
Actually, doesn't.
Indoors.
The irony is, it looks like it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because we do the outdoor show and it fucking rains, but the indoor show, beautiful outside.
That's the way it goes.
Time to flip-flop.
I know.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it's been a mad dash of prep for this week. I unfortunately have been slightly injured and not been in full capacity, so I'm not fulfilling my tasks quite to capacity. But
Get your kids to do it.
they have been. They help, and they will be helping. I believe both of them will be there. Although is the day after Emma's prom, so she might be a little late. But I think Ann and Andrew will be at the booth.
Nice.
We have a few other volunteers. I've actually, were you there when Frank and Maria, Frank
Yeah.
and Maria's little girls were helping me run the
At the
merch
t-shirt booth.
right?
Yep.
They loved it so much they're going to come back and do it again. So they're going to be there probably for a little while.
Is there going to be Luft Classic or merch for sale?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So there will be things for sale, but there will also be an opportunity to, at that point, go right to the website and order it.
Oh,
If
okay.
we don't have your size,
Yep.
you can still get it and we'll ship it to you.
Excellent.
So
On-demand
that is an
size option.
I know.
ordering.
It's one of those things where you can only have so many of.
Well, it's the first year,
Correct.
so you can't go too crazy.
I believe there's 2 or 3 different designs.
Lovely.
A couple different designs of the posters. I know there's a ton of stickers.
Oh, we got posters printed too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep. We're 2 regular and 1 junior. I
excellent.
believe. A couple weeks ago, we finished the Pine Derby ramp.
Yes.
Decorated it this week. Should be really cool. Apparently, there's a lot of people who did the
The valve
cover thing. So, like, there could be 25 or 30 competitors.
That's sweet.
So we're gonna do that. I know we had him on not long ago. Sean Brayton is gonna be somewhat in charge of that.
Nice. He'll be facilitating the children's
Correct.
races.
I believe he was gonna work with that, so should be a lot of fun. Yeah, but I think it's gonna be a good time.
Looking forward to it. I'm going to
10 a.m. on
crash
Sunday.
the pre-show GTG at the brewery on Saturday
Hell yeah.
with my water-cooled car.
Everyone's welcome on Saturday. So yeah, so at 1:00 in Canned Heat in Fall River, which is on Ferry Street. I don't forget the number. It's like 50 or 52 Ferry Street.
It's at
Yeah.
the bottom.
Cool
It's
little
at the
spot.
bottom. It's near the
Can't miss
the
it.
marina.
Otherwise, you're in the water.
It's a great place.
If you miss it, you're in the river.
if you go down and you see a parking lot full of boats, you're there.
yeah.
Because unfortunately, I went by this week and they haven't pulled a lot of boats out yet.
It's been shitty.
I was hoping they would have put them in the water because that's like all the parking is right there. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's still plenty of parking. Don't let that dissuade you. But yeah, so from like 1 to maybe 3:30 or so.
I was going to drive my car tonight, and I'm like, if it's going to be a rainstorm, I don't
That'd
want to
be
have to
a
wash it
speed
again before
Right,
Saturday.
Right. So yeah,
What's
it'll
up,
be a
Rick? Thanks for joining
general
us.
get together on that Saturday afternoon if anybody's.
Yeah, like 1-ish.
I know a lot of people are traveling and they're staying over in the hotel, and it's only about a 10-minute ride from the hotel, that the host hotel anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, so it should be a good time, and then we'll do our night cruise to dinner, and then the show is Sunday.
Where's dinner?
It's at Longplex. We have
At the restaurant at Longplex.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
so it is. We have a reservation there.
Nice.
Obviously, anyone's welcome to do whatever they want. But if we're gonna leave from the hotel and just take a cruise over there, hopefully the weather holds up. It might rain, so we'll see how that goes. But
Yep. It's going to be a fun weekend, though.
should be a good time.
I'd like to give a shout out to, we got a lot of friends down in Helen, Georgia this weekend
yeah.
for Alpine Volks Fair. A lot of good stuff down there. Having met Mega FOMO, seeing it all happen, unfold without me there. But maybe next year I'll be down there. We'll see. That's
Call me next year at hour 12 while you're
tentative
driving
plan.
down and tell me how much you're missing it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Maybe I'll ride with you.
Dude, you should.
Should go.
Yeah, being serious.
Yeah, no, seriously. It'd be a fun time. It's a bucket list drive for me. I've flown down numerous times. I've always wanted to do the drive. Now that I have built the bucket list car,
Yeah.
I feel like
This
I
is
should
the
drive it
that
there.
was the bucket list car.
Yeah,
That's
no,
fantastic.
I've always.
I didn't
I
know
mean,
that.
it's not like the bucket list car is a 911,
Well,
but
yeah, okay.
but yeah,
I
no,
mean,
but like the
Check, check, and check.
I mean,
Everyone's-
yeah.
But yeah, no, as far as like
we don't have to get nuts.
as
yet.
far as a water cooled Volkswagen is
Yeah.
concerned,
yeah,
a 4-door Mark II has
right.
always been on the list, and I have successfully accomplished it. So I would like to drive it there because trailers are dumb.
yeah, you're really hard on that, man.
I've been trolling the trailer people
Yeah,
all week.
Always does.
You and Toby.
Yeah,
It's fucking
I
crazy.
made a flyer for a fake trailer get
Why do you hate?
together.
Why you?
Well, no.
Can I get a poster sized version of that?
Yes,
Yeah,
but
I
no.
wanna hang that in
Here's my.
garage.
I'll give you.
Give me.
Here's my callback. My callback is the whole thing with the trailer get together and Helen is. I understand, like, with a Beetle or something, like you're not going to drive it 17 hours, but I'm seeing people that live in Florida and Georgia trailering like a 2010 Jetta 3.5 hours to Helen, Georgia. It's like you literally have like a least return economy car with air ride
So
and
what's your-
$600 wheels. There is no reason you need to trailer that. Like your vinyl wrap is gonna be fine. I promise.
Why does it bother you so much?
Because it's just stupid. It's like, what are you afraid of? It's because they're afraid to drive their cars. What are you afraid of?
Breaking down, I think, is the deal.
The truck you're towing with could break down. You could get a flat tire on your trailer.
You know how ridiculous you sound, John. I love you, but
Do you know how ridiculous they're going to feel when they see their Easy Pass bill because
What?
they're paying for like 10 axles when they could just drive their
I'm sure.
$8,000 economy car
sure
3
it's not a
hours to the show?
surprise. I'm sure it's not a surprise.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. You're very hard on that. I find it very interesting.
I'm just saying.
And I think my wife's like.
Build your car
I
to be
think you
usable.
influence my wife the same way.
Yeah. Make your car, build your car to be usable. And you know what? Shit breaks. When I was in Jersey, I drove. I just finished that car.
Yeah.
I drove 500 miles
Yeah.
round trip to Jersey for a
Sure.
car show 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
And an engine mount bolt came out. And you know what? That came out at mile like 450.
You sound like.
If I trailered the car around everywhere,
Yeah.
that would have never happened.
That's right. It never would have broke.
It never would have broke.
Right. So you've been fine. So
Are
that,
you-
I believe you're making the
my
case
point
for trailer in the
is,
car.
you never
Right?
improve things. Every time I drive the car, I hear a funny little noise or something moves a weird way.
7 years down the road, you're like, oh, look at that bolt fell
No.
out. It's been 7 years. That's
No.
not bad.
And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fix that. And you constantly evolve and refine and perfect.
So it's like John drives his car to 4 problems.
No, I'm just saying.
He's like, I want to hear problems.
John wants adversity.
If there's no
He does.
He's just like, I want bad things to
I
happen.
text
He
him.
needs
I
a story to tell.
He
That's
went-
it.
when
Yeah.
bad things
When'd
happen,
go
you
to New Jersey?
perfect them.
2 weeks ago? You went to New Jersey?
Yeah.
I said, hey, how'd your ride go? Uneventful. That was. That's
It was
literally-
uneventful.
That's literally as fucking. It's like, and I'm like,
Are you sad about
Like-
that? Yeah.
It was good. Yeah.
I just said okay. I just was like, all right. I don't even know how to take that. Uneventful. Like,
Uneventful's good.
Shucks.
Yeah. No, but my point
And I'm over
is,
here trying to
yeah,
figure out how to get more tow vehicles for all the trailers I own to bring the cars.
if you don't use them, you never find the little quirky things to fix. And,
No, I
and-
get
and
that
when-
for
and
sure.
as you fix them, they become more roadworthy. Like every time I drive that car, I become a little more comfortable with it. And it got to the point with the old car, like the first time I drove it was to the top of Mount Washington, the old car. And now this
Yeah.
one, it's like I shot it down to Jersey, like pretty
All right.
much the first week it was done. So the more you use them, the more comfortable you get with them, and you
That's for
refine.
sure. I do respect
And then you
that.
think of things that, like, wow, I really like the way this looks, but after sitting in it for 6 hours, I don't love the function of it. And I want it to be functional and usable because I actually like driving it.
Fucking
It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre to me to just have this like decorative display thing that you don't want to use or you're not comfortable. It's like, what are you not comfortable? Oh, it's not comfortable to drive. Well, make it comfortable. That's my point. It's uncomfortable because okay, well change that to something else then to make it comfortable.
This is the best thing ever.
John is very passionate.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
that's why I do
Yeah,
it.
that's the word I'll
it's
use.
just so
Yeah.
funny, man. He's so
If something sucks, make it not suck.
all right. Take
That's
it
the
easy.
point.
I was having fun with it. I ain't nasty.
Yeah. If something is sucky, there's options to make it not sucky.
Hey, where'd your shell go, by the way?
What shell?
The
Oh,
shell.
the old shell. Yeah, it's gone.
I said, where'd
Did you
it go?
Did
To
you
a
sink
dump.
it?
Did you take it?
No. Big shouts to Grover.
Oh, okay.
Oh no shit.
To the dump. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Freetown dump.
He went to the
Took
dump.
it. Yeah.
So no, I needed when I drove down to Jersey, one of my turn signal switches was being a little sticky and weird. So Grover had a set of turn signal
Get
stocks.
the trailer.
So I was like, "Hey man, what do you want for those turn signal stocks?" And he was like, "I don't know, dude." I was like, "I'll trade you a car for it." So yeah,
All right.
he came and picked up the 91, and it's going away to scrap because it's junk. It was a bare shell stripped, dragging
Yeah, there was nothing.
it up on the trailer with no suspension and
Tell
no
him the
wheels
spare cans to get 5 cents.
and no subframes. There was beer cans in
Two,
the
yeah.
frame rails. Yeah,
Yeah,
there was 4.
It was 4?
Yeah, I put
Cat
one in
saw
the
it too.
front
It's like-
frame rails and the
it's
rear
like,
frame rails.
look at the beer cans. That's funny.
That's actually probably the most valuable thing on the car.
It's like Mark's Rockers.
No, I stuck them in.
You knock it off.
When I cut the brake lines to take all the hardware off the front brakes, the hard lines that were still stuck in the car were dripping brake fluid, and I didn't want to get it on my driveway.
is that what-
So I rammed beer cans on it just to catch all the brake fluid. It worked good.
That's great.
That's right, Rick. The more you beat it, the better it gets. That's
Yeah.
right.
You know, somebody told me that once and it didn't work out for me. Anyway.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
What else? Oh, speaking of taking crappy things and making them better,
Yeah.
I had a visit this week from our good friend Rob from Dent Patrol.
Oh, he is the best.
Blake
Hey,
had an
if you
oopsie
ever
in the
need a
garage.
paintless dent removal, we got a guy.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
guy, he lives in New Hampshire, but he travels he goes down to like Jersey. He goes anywhere.
He's definitely in this area at least once a week, if not twice.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And he
he's
is
going
just-
through or coming back.
Oh,
or,
sure,
Or
sure,
he'll
sure.
pick a day and come
He's
down.
smart.
to
He
a bunch
does
of
is
stuff down
incredible.
He
Here.
doesn't fuck around.
And if you hire him to do one spot on your car, he's going to find 3. you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
know
He'll
about.
fix him while he's there and just be like, "Yeah, you're fine, whatever."
Yeah.
Because he's got like this thing where he sees it. He's like, it has to go away, so he needs to like work on it. But no, so Blake had an oopsie in the garage moving the square back around.
Yep.
And he was jacking it up and didn't realize when he was jacking it up, he was jacking the front fender into the lolly column. that
So
opens the
his
garage
brother
up.
had. Did you ever see Steve's old car?
Which one?
The square back. Steve
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
My brother
So
owns
his
that
brother
now.
has that car.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yep. So that'll be a Love
awesome.
Classicer.
Yeah,
Yep.
it'll
The
be
maroon
there.
one.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, so he had an oopie. He was jacking it up, and he didn't realize that the front fender was just crushing into the lolly column. So it didn't kink it or anything, and it's the fender I'm going to repaint because we painted it, but it was the wrong color code.
Yep.
So it's just off. So I'm going to strip it and paint it again. But for now, he's just trying to get it, back. He's like, there was no dent there. I don't want a dent. So he called Rob, and of course, Rob is awesome and swung down on one of his many missions and fit us in between. And he's there for like 45 minutes, and I dare you to show me where the dent was.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
No shit. Yeah,
It's
that's
absolutely
awesome.
amazing.
He did 5 spots on my new car, like the week before dust off, and one in particular, the passenger door. I don't know. I was convinced I was gonna have to like get a new door. Like it was just like the weirdest like ripple, and he made it so much better. You
The
don't
crazy
see it at
thing
all.
was, if you watch him work, he does the opposite of what you think you should do.
yeah,
Like if the dent goes in, he smacks the hammer at the dent, but then
It-
it comes out, and I'm like, well,
it almost.
well,
makes,
that's not how physics is supposed to work. What
I'll
is
tell you one
happening
thing.
right now?
I watched him work on other people's cars, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting. When he was working on my car, I'm like, I need to get out of
I
there.
can't watch this happen.
Yeah, and I'm like, I have no idea what
Well, the
the
best was he was
status
like-
of this paint is.
He had the heat gun set up, and he's doing his thing, and he's like, I don't know. He's like, I want to give it a little more, but I don't want to crack the paint. Blake goes,
Yeah.
oh, Ryan's painting that fender. He's like, all right,
okay.
fucking, yeah. He like
Yeah.
stood on the bar, came right out. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, he's an animal.
But then he takes like a metal punch and he smacks it with a hammer, and it just like what? Well, how is that making it better?
That
But it
like
does.
spring-loaded punch thing he
Yeah,
uses.
I'm with John.
It's
I
like
don't
a
think I could
shrinking.
watch it.
It's like a shrinking hammer, right? So like they have those special blocks with the grooves cut in them when you're doing like metal work. I've watched guys that do like
Yeah.
tin work and stuff
Yeah,
use these
yeah.
things. And when you put it behind the metal and you smack it, it pulls the metal shrinks it, because when you put a dent in it, obviously stretches it. But it has something to do with that, I think. I don't know. He just is awesome.
He's a magician.
And he's such a nice guy. Big smile on his face and laughing the whole time while he's working.
Yep.
Just having a grand old time.
That's the guy you want to hire.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, any of your paintless dent removal needs, look up Rob from Dent Patrol.
I got first place in shuffleboard.
Oh,
I
for
won-
fuck's sake.
I
He
won
won
the
the
league.
championship.
Won the championship.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Who'd
That's
you
my
beat?
big news.
Did you beat Mark?
I beat
No,
everybody.
No,
Well,
but
yeah,
did
he
you
didn't
play
have
Mark
to
at
play
the
me,
end?
but
Oh,
no,
right.
he actually played Craig and another guy.
Yeah, Craig and
Yeah.
Tom. But yeah, no, me and we randomly pulled partner every week. Me and
Yeah.
my partner Adam, and I don't want to say Adam carried me, but Adam played really well that night.
He's played really well all season, actually.
Yeah, he
I
has.
will say that from previous seasons.
But no,
For
I
sure.
think we both played well, and I think we,
Yeah, you
you know,
definitely did.
we were fortunate in the teams that we got to play. Everybody played pretty well, though.
Not I. Not I and my
Not
teammate.
you.
We
You guys
both-
had a rough week.
We played like absolute fucking shit. Absolute shit.
it
If
was
we
a
end
fun
up
night.
pulling it out, we didn't even deserve to be there.
I used to find that like when I played horseshoes, there was if I didn't go like first, second round because we had 2 pits, but we'd have like 18 teams, so you'd have to wait like 3 or 4 full games before you played. If I'm just sitting there having a couple beers, like and I start late,
Yeah.
I'm off for the rest of the
That's
night.
it, yeah. Yeah, no, John played well all season, actually. He played very fucking well.
I tried.
Yeah, he did good. Do you haven't been trying all
No,
these
no,
years?
yeah.
Last 2 years
You
were just
might-
practice.
Yeah, you should just keep trying then. Yep, he fucking he got it.
Took the gold,
He should have won the second game, so he didn't have to go to the third. But
but I had to go to the third. I
they had to
lost the
climb
second
that
game.
back. They came close though. It was
Yeah.
close. Every game was close.
It was fun.
So
You want to hit the news?
sure.
Breaking news.
Police find naked man in a Lowe's display shed
John. Those aren't cabins. We told you this.
with
That's not a free
Vaseline and a
vacation.
phone.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So he was in a
Vaseline and a
shed
phone.
with a Vaseline.
He was
phone.
naked in a shed with an open container of Vaseline and a phone. He quickly closed the apps on his phone when the police entered. He said he was just watching YouTube with no pants on.
I think he spelled you porn wrong. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was in
Jesus Christ.
Slidell, Louisiana. So, big shouts to that Lowe's.
Fuck.
I will say that I have bought 2 sheds from Lowe's display lots, like the old ones that they're getting rid of.
So you know who this guy is.
I'm just saying.
You
what's
turned the
up,
black
Harry?
light
How you
on.
doing,
It was
buddy?
Yeah.
it was a veritable Jackson Pollock in there.
Yeah. I'm just saying I'm going to think twice about buying another used shed or at least paint it after I get it on the inside, you know?
Maybe I'll use a spermicide on
Just
the inside.
sterilize it.
Yeah. So something to think about if you're buying a used shed.
Fuck.
Got one more. Oh, this was an interesting thing.
Is that the one you were super excited to talk about?
No, that was
That was
shuffleboard.
shuffleboard.
Oh, all right.
Craig ruined it for him.
I
Gotcha.
got
The pre-call.
an article that has the top UFO sightings in Massachusetts.
Hell yeah.
This was just from 3 days ago. So, what town? Boston's number one, just because I think obviously population related.
And I think they include a lot of towns in Boston that technically are outside of Boston.
Yeah, I think they use the state in
Boston
general.
proper, and then you have all the like
Right.
towns around there.
so.
Yeah.
After Boston, any guesses on what you think would be the top amount of sightings?
It's got to
In
be
Ma-
Bridgewater.
in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Bridgewater
made the list, but it's not the next after Boston.
Freetown.
No, Freetown's not even on the list.
Really?
I want to
Yeah.
say Springfield.
That's up there. So Springfield was number 3.
Oh, where do Nick and Rachel live? Out in Western Mass.
Springfield was number 3 at 53 sightings. Worcester was number 2 at
Oh, wow.
68 sightings. Boston was like 113. And then it was Lowell with 41. Plymouth with 34.
Wow.
All right.
New Bedford with 32. Methuen, which that one was
These
kind of out of
photos
nowhere.
you're showing. Can you pull those
I'll pull
over
them up,
for
yeah.
a second? Like let's touch on this for a second. You're a UFO guy. You into
Oh,
that?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
perfect.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I think
shows
it's.
made me
I just
open-minded
feel
to
like
a lot
it's
of things,
naive
so-
to think that we're the only.
No, I
intelligent-
get that. That's a good argument. These photos are well. That's a
Like, what are we pointing at?
I mean,
all right.
I mean that
That's
looks
like a stock photo.
that's a fucking plane.
Like I was saying before this started, I was rewatching Unsolved Mysteries, and listen, Bobby Stack knows what's up. He
I
knows what's up with all
love
these UFOs.
Unsolved
It's
Mysteries.
like 1994. He's like,
I love
where?
Unsolved
so
Mysteries.
shit
these
like
UFOs
this. Like
coming
I don't.
from?
This is I don't know.
This is
Yeah,
this
see,
is
it's all Shutterstock.
This is just
stuff.
Shutterstock
Right.
stuff. These are stock images. These aren't
Like,
actual
what are we doing?
photos.
What for? Why?
It's the new. It's a news article.
That's
It's not-
ridiculous.
yeah.
You guys remember that drone thing, like from like last year?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was talking about the drones. Like,
Oh,
that
yeah.
all started as UFO stuff because
Yeah.
I'm like, or UAP stuff because
Yep.
now it's like
Yeah, now they don't call
UAPs.
it UFO.
Aerial
Oh, no.
phenomenon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of lost a lot, and now you can't even go by the pictures anymore because like the AI stuff. So it's like everybody's
That's it,
faking
right.
everything because they all want to be
Yeah.
part of it. But
Yeah, AI is. Ugh, it's done weird shit for that for
Methuen
sure.
is a weird one though. That's a weird one to be honest.
I would've
was
never
thinking
picked that.
everything like Bridgewater Triangle, Hockomock Swamp
Yeah.
type thing. I was thinking that.
Exactly. Methuen. I couldn't even point that out on our map, to be honest.
I can't because Blake lives in Haverhill and it's right there.
No.
So Taunton, Bridgewater, and Gloucester
Gloucester.
are all tied
Huh.
with 26.
See, I want real photos, man.
Oh, they're out there. The truth
Yeah.
is out there.
Cue the
Are they
X-Files
that
thing.
clean?
Yeah,
though?
yeah.
Are they that clean? That's my point, right?
Where's
you know,
Scott?
you talk
No,
about
no.
Sasquatch, right? Everyone's all, look at there he is. Is he?
What's your opinion on that, Aaron? The like the Bigfoot
The Bigfoot.
concept.
So like, you watch like the Patterson footage and stuff like that, and like that's been basically
The
debunked like
benchmark,
crazy
yeah.
because everybody was like, "Oh yeah, no human can walk like that," and they're like, "All right, watch this." Like, what are you talking about? Oh, nobody could walk like that with like 60 pounds of fur on. Okay, watch this.
Yeah.
Like, so it's
Walk like he was lumbering along so slow.
oh yeah, it's like, oh, he's so slow, but it's like, I don't think, I don't know. I think about it from like a scientific point of view. Like, you would have to see something, and then people bring up like, the Amazon every year. There's like X amount of thousands of new species of stuff found, but I'm like, we're talking
Right, but
bugs.
those species of
Yeah,
this
bug,
big,
We're not
right.
talking
I mean,
an 8 foot
Yeah.
tall
Right,
freaking
right.
swamp, man.
They say
Yeah.
that about the ocean. If they could get
Exactly.
that deep, they'd find a thousand.
Yeah,
more
every,
species.
yeah. Every
Million.
time they dive in the
And
ocean,
there, I
they
mean,
find new
obviously, there are
species.
Right.
parts of like the Pacific
like-
Northwest that no humans ever even seen.
Yeah.
Right? So like,
I mean, like,
Yeah, like the Patterson footage.
Okay.
Like, wow, yeah, we've never seen one of these before.
he
Like,
straight
come
up
on.
looks
My
at the
whole
camera
thing-
and keeps walking.
hey, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sup, dude?
Every fucking
See you at
photo.
PAX.
Yeah. Later, bro.
Every fucking photo of this guy, of this fucking creation, this creature,
Yeah.
right, is always fucking blurry.
Oh yeah.
Every fucking time.
Yeah, you're not sitting there with
Like-
like a
like
a
this is what
Sony
I mean-
like 70 to 300 pointed
How
at this
is
thing with
it?
like crystal clear images. Like
It's like, what are people just at the beach and they look behind him like, look at this motherfucker.
Well, it's like every
Let me
security.
zoom
grab
in.
the phone. They're like,
I have such a hard
It's
time
like
with
every
this.
security camera. I got a Ring doorbell that can see the fucking moon.
Yeah,
and
right.
if you're walking,
No, he's
but
blurry.
The security camera and
Yeah.
the guy looks like a fucking black, whatever.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's me in a Halloween costume 20 years ago, and someone just put a background to it.
well,
Right.
that's crazy because
Well, this is from the '60s.
yeah,
this
that was,
is,
this
this
was
is
in
a
the
long time ago.
60s.
Yeah.
And then you look at the pictures now, and
That's how shitty my costume
and it
was.
hasn't gotten any better.
Right.
The
Yeah.
pictures haven't gotten
I mean,
any
that's
better.
my whole point. It's
He's
like,
got a lot of junk in the trunk. I'll give him
Yeah,
that.
he
Like
does.
he's got
He
a
got
nice badonka.
the
dog.
badonka
Yeah.
dog.
I don't think a Sasquatch has that.
I
type
don't
of
think
junk.
so. I think he's
You know?
he's walking every day,
He's
right?
just
So there was one that got me. Right, there was one piece of video footage that got me. It has nothing to do with this. So there was a guy, and he had a camera set up, and he was videoing something running across the ridge of a mountain, right?
yeah.
And there was a little bit of a trail, like not like a walking path or anything. That was kind of just like a little hump in the mountain, right? So what they did was they took that footage and they broke it down and they figured out like the stride of the leg. The terrain is obviously pretty rough. It's rocky and grassy and dirt, and it's on a hill. It's on a very steep hill, like a very steep grade. And they're running crossways to the grade, whatever this thing was. And it was obviously far away, but you can see it. They timed it. They have the actual distance because it's the same place. And they took a dude who was an Olympic sprinter, and he couldn't
to try to
come
copy it.
anywhere near the time it took, whatever that was, to get from point A to point B. Couldn't come anywhere near the time to get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an odd thing to me. Like that's the science that I start to believe in, at that point.
Yeah.
But
I think
This is
I think it's like
nonsense.
past like the understanding. So I think like a lot of it's based in fact. Like
Sure.
you look
Right.
at Loch Ness Monster, right? And then we have what's his name? Who's in the U.S. He's like the U.S. equivalent of the Loch Ness Monster that's in the Great Lakes. There's
Champ.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, from Lake Champlain. Yeah, so it's like you got it, and people may not understand, but I think it's a cool story. Like you see something floating in the water. You look at like still water and you see something bouncing. You're like, all right, what is that? Like,
Right.
like what is it? Let your imagination kind of get away with you, but like, who knows? Like you've been seeing sightings of Loch Ness Monster since like according to like the 1300s or something like that. Like a monk saw it, and
Right.
it's like, I get it. I understand. Like maybe some of it would be real, but
Have you seen the things with the giant anacondas in Brazil now?
Mm-mm.
Where they're showing
all
these,
anacondas are giant.
Well,
They're
right,
all
but like-
freaking
Yeah.
huge, bro.
they're showing. and
What's
I
the
don't
biggest
know-
snake that exists?
I don't know if it's real or not, but there's like a river or whatever, and it's pretty shallow.
AI.
And yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's probably AI, but like the scale of this snake, this thing is 150 feet long.
I was gonna say, you ever seen what a full size anaconda looks
No.
like? Because
No,
I've
no,
seen
no one
one
wants
at the National Zoo in DC,
Let me pull it up.
and so they're the heaviest snakes. I believe they're the heaviest snakes by mass, not the longest.
Okay,
But I mean, they're
big around.
they're
yeah,
huge
diesel.
around, like gigantic around. I mean, you see a 20-foot snake, or you see a 15-foot snake, you're like, that's a big ass snake.
I see anything over a 2-foot snake, and
I'm done.
I'm fucking. What's his name? From,
Footers at
yeah.
home. That's
I don't
about
really
it.
have much of a
Meep,
a length.
poof, gone.
Yeah.
Green anacondas can be 30 feet long.
No, we're good. What's the diameter?
That's too many.
Say diameter.
Diameter of 12 inches.
Fuck
1
that.
foot
A
around.
Foot diameter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
all right.
I
So
had- oh,
Rick
God.
V-Dub,
God damn it.
Rick V-Dub said UFO sightings compared to Bigfoot sightings. You'll be surprised. So I just pulled this overlap map
Yeah.
up,
Yep.
and the dark green is the overlap, and the white is no overlap.
You can tell it's a government map.
So,
Camouflage.
so basically, this
We got the
shows
Pacific Northwest, very heavy.
All right.
very heavy.
Here in the plains, like I don't know, there's much.
All right,
forest
zoom back
down
up for a
here.
second. What's the key say?
So basically, the darkest area is
Both.
sightings of both are
Yeah.
high.
Brown is
Okay,
Bigfoot, green is
interesting.
UFOs,
Yeah.
and then black is
Wow.
is all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So
like-
lot happening to the left.
Yeah, but look at the center because the population's so low. Like you think
Yeah.
like light pollution is lower.
Well, you can almost
Yeah.
see like the
more
Appalachian
plains.
Mountain Ridge right there. Like
Yep.
that's what people see. I don't know what here, like Tornado Alley. There's not a whole lot of
There's
forest there.
such heavy sightings of Bigfoot, right? Even both, whatever. But yet it's so blurry.
Yeah,
I know.
You
This is
can't-
my biggest fucking thing.
We're almost in the all the way dark.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah.
But no one can get a good photo.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Everyone looking for it can't afford a good camera.
No,
Look at
everyone
Rhode
always
Island.
has
Rhode
that
Island's really
phone-
funny. So the only
Yeah.
place they don't see Bigfoot is like Providence, Cranston, and Warwick, and everywhere else it's like
Yeah, that's all
Everywhere
city.
else
no
he's
Bigfoots
vibing.
in
He's
Providence.
like, I'm
Bigfoot's
good.
too
everywhere.
much city.
Yeah.
I just avoid that whole like
Yeah.
Providence
Uh,
area.
I-
Bigfoot's like, I'm not going to Pawtucket. Are you shitting me?
Hell no. I'm not getting held up.
UFOs and alien shit, I'm always like, you got to experience that. But the Bigfoot thing, I'm just like, absolutely.
Yeah, like you have like John was saying, like
Yeah.
there's no way.
I'm like, no way.
Statistically, there's
Fuck outta here.
no way that like we're the only things.
I had a
It's
friend of mine
impossible.
tell me
You can't even
Megalodon.
quantify the number of planets in this.
Yeah.
Whatever you
Literally,
want to call it.
you look
Yeah.
you look at one star and there's hundreds of planets around that star,
Right.
and that's on a low estimate. You're probably talking thousands that we don't
Thousands.
even know about
Yep.
around one little point of light in the sky.
And it's like maybe they just are
Statistics,
full
man.
of ants, but
Yeah.
also maybe they're full of things smarter
I mean,
than us.
it's
Yeah.
still technically intelligent life, right? If it's a colonization of,
Think-
of some kind of.
Think of how many
something.
podcasts there are. Out
Oh
there.
my god!
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fuck.
That's all the news I have. That's all I got.
Let's just dive in.
That's
I
pretty
love
good.
this
That was
shit.
good. That
I
was
love
pretty
this
good.
shit.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, that
awesome.
good.
Should we just dive in?
Yeah. Do you have anything like groundbreaking on this?
Not
day in history?
groundbreaking.
It's
not
gonna take you
really.
11 seconds.
I
Just
mean,
read
yeah. All right, don't be nasty. I had a couple of news too.
All right.
You know.
They're going back.
Breaking news.
The man who was bitten hundreds of times by a poisonous snake paves the way for a universal antidote. So I looked into this. I'm going to keep it quick. So I looked into this. He literally gets bitten by, he's been bitten over 200 times by snakes
On purpose.
on fucking purpose. So now they have a possible
So is he the one that had the blood that already had it in it, or is he
exactly
building up?
because
Okay,
he built up the antibodies so they could come with come up with something.
antidote. Yeah, universe. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
come up with
crazy.
a vaccine. Yeah, crazy. I couldn't over 200 times he's been bit.
And I
Just for this research.
Can you imagine being a kid and be like, all right, your
Yeah.
mother's like, what do you want to do for a living? So listen up, mom. I'm gonna
So-
get bit by snakes.
So worldwide, 81,000 to 138,000 people die of from complications resulting from a snake bite.
Sure, I believe it.
That's a lot. That's,
we have a lot of poisonous domestic snakes.
see, this is
No.
I can't.
See,
We don't.
No, we don't.
Okay.
We don't have any poisonous snakes.
So what about rattlesnakes?
Poisonous snakes
Yeah,
don't
not-
exist. Poisonous versus venomous.
Okay, you're
Good,
right. Yeah,
good
yeah.
rule of thumb.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Poisonous, you
Teach
eat
me.
it. You eat it, you die.
Okay.
Or you bite it, you die. Venomous, it bites you, you die. There you go.
Okay, yeah,
So
venomous snakes.
poison versus frogs, poisonous. You don't want to
Okay.
eat those.
Okay.
But like, so what snakes did he get bit by? Did it say like what species he was getting bit by?
Oh my god! No, it didn't. I actually read this all during the day. Did not. It was just a whole, all different ones. The rattlesnakes was a big one.
Yeah.
Um,
As far as U.S. based stuff, rattlesnakes probably the most
We have,
venomous.
we have like
right?
cottonmouth. We have the diamondbacks. We have some.
there's
We have the
more
coral,
than
the coral
650
snake.
types of snakes in the world, just in general. So like
that we know of.
that are venomous and based on their limited number of toxins. No, it didn't say what he got bit by because I read this whole thing and because that's one of the. I knew that would be a question.
When I see people get bit by snakes, it's one of those things that, like, I understand they probably like don't hurt that bad because they like the teeth are just like little teeth. I mean, I'm talking as far as getting bit by an
Well, I
animal.
mean, you're covered in tattoos. You're probably right. It's the same
I was
thing.
saying compared to getting bit by the bazillion other animals you could be bit by, getting bit by a snake, immediate pain level wise probably isn't that bad. But every time I see a video of somebody getting
kinda
bit by a
agree with that.
snake, it's like it's so fast. I feel like it really startled me.
So as maybe the only person in this room who's been bitten by a snake.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a surprise.
It startles
It
you,
doesn't
right?
hurt at all. Like my pythons hit me. She tagged me across the thumb. Like literally, I have a showing. Only
Mark
like
just shit himself.
Only
Hold
like
on.
a 4.5 foot. I have two like 4.5 foot ball pythons.
Yeah, it's only
So-
as tall as me. Like,
so literally,
that's
it's
all
only
right.
it's only like
Yeah.
that big around. It's nothing crazy, right? They're super docile snakes. So accidentally, me being a dumbass, when I used to feed, like when she was smaller, I would have to feed her 3 mice, and they get very used to routines. So in between the second and third mouse, she got something stuck in her tooth. So I reached in.
oh,
Dummy me, she tagged me immediately, went across, let go.
Yep.
And she's a constrictor, so she didn't actually grab and wrap. She noticed immediately, like, oh, this ain't right.
Yeah.
Hits it. Let's go. All I had was a bunch
not
of
food.
pinholes. It was just
Yeah.
literally so fast and they hit so hard. You're like, whoa.
yeah.
But like, most of it comes from after the fact, like with venomous stuff, when you get like the hemotoxins, that's
Yeah.
when it starts like coagulating your blood and like eating away at tissue. And oh, yeah, that's when it starts sucking.
But with your snake, that did not happen.
So
Thankfully.
No. Python's non-venomous.
This is
They're
gonna
good.
be a really stupid question. They have more teeth than just the fangs. Or I thought it was just like a razor
So,
line inside.
It depends on. So I have 2 ball pythons and I have a western hognose snake. So a western hognose is technically mildly venomous. It's the equivalent of a bee sting.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like you get hit and nothing happens. But if you're allergic to bees, you go into anaphylaxis. Like you literally have to go and like get an EpiPen. and
EpiPen,
yeah,
you'll be
yeah.
okay. So yeah, if you're allergic to bees, don't get a hognose snake. But they're rear fangs, so they have fangs. They have 2 teeth in the back, like you would expect to see. Like they just have 2 little pokey things,
Almost like molars. but in the back.
immobilizing venom. So they're just long, pointy things. Pythons, if you were to look up python teeth, there's a row sitting under a gum line, and they hook backwards.
So you can't pull out.
So basically,
Yeah.
yeah, they bite you, and they're in. They
the harder
they
you
literally-
pull, the deeper it sinks.
and they have 4 like individual jaws that can move as they
Oh,
pull
shit.
you in. So they actually can move their top and bottom jaws independently. So they pull whatever they're eating in, because how else would you get the food in your mouth? They actually literally pull it in and work it in. It's wild to see. Like it really is wild. So imagine
fucking
something
crazy.
eating a
It's
fucking
wild to
deer.
see. It's wild just to listen to
Yeah,
this.
I know, right?
Like,
Let me fucking tell
so
you.
we were talking about anacondas, right? So anacondas will try to take down like deer.
Deer,
They'll
I
try
was
to
gonna
take
say
down,
us,
So
yeah.
can you imagine something just walking by, just casually eating a deer? Like, oh hey, look, that's pretty cool, a fucking deer. And you're just like, yeah, that's fine.
Pulling in a
Holy
140-pound doe.
Yeah,
Like, what is
no big
going
deal.
on right now?
No.
Yeah, just it looks like a log eating another freaking animal. Like, oh,
Why is this not opening? This one.
yeah, python teeth are messed up. They're scary to look at.
That's not.
Oh no, that's a
Rat type of rat snake.
Oh no, that's the. Is that a rat? No, that's the one with the little.
It's the Green Lantern.
The little horn on the nose, the little yellow horn. On
Yes.
the nose. Yeah, they're awesome. Those snakes are cool as hell.
Yeah, I think it was a type of rat snake.
Is
I
it?
thought he said.
I
Maybe,
can't. I
don't
can never remember. See,
Yeah.
I'm not super good with snakes. I'm a blue tongue skink guy. I'm a skink
skinks are
species
cool.
guy.
Yeah, we had that thing here. This
Oh
one.
yeah, little fella.
I held that one. That was a moment in my life.
Yeah.
You held the big boy too.
I did.
Whatever that one.
Did you hold
was.
the berm?
No. Nope. No thanks.
Oh yeah.
He was moving too fast. I didn't like it.
That's the size of my ball python.
Taking a picture.
Video.
All right, perfect.
All right, perfect. Get this fucking
Yeah,
thing away from
seriously.
me.
I was like, that's enough for me. I'm done now. You unpredictable motherfucker.
Yeah, the one with the funny snoot was cool. I liked that one.
That's why hog nose are cool because their nose is like pointed up. They got that front plate that they use to dig. So it's hilarious when you watch mine try to eat. She just kind of like rubs her nose up against it, and then she just opens her mouth. But they're terrible at striking. They're like the most inaccurate snake I've ever seen trying to strike. It's borderline hilarious. It's like no wonder why you need venom because you're useless otherwise.
We've already caught a couple ringneck snakes in the yard this year. They like our rock wall and the paver stones, so we catch them in the backyard quite a bit. I pulled in the driveway yesterday, and Cassie walked up, hold them one, all wrapped around.
Not picking up.
I'm
a
like,
snake.
yeah, yeet that nope rope into the woods, please.
No, Craig, you didn't mention that.
No, didn't mention
Not
that.
a big.
Craig.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, Mark said immediately that he played badly.
I played like shit. It's fine. John deserved to win. He played great.
Thank you.
Just trolling.
Craig, you couldn't win 2 games to win the thing, so you suck.
Ouch.
Just saying, I watched them both, all 3. Shouldn't even gone to 3.
Do we have any other this day in history?
ready? I do. Do you really want to get into that?
Oh, you have more news.
I got one more.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is fucking crazy.
Okay.
This is the headline. They wouldn't go into freezers. Funeral home director gave fake ashes to thousands of grieving pet owners. Dumped an actual...
Oh, yeah.
I talked about this last week.
You did the same one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Fuck it. News is done. See, that's the problem. We need to like... be able
Actually, I
to
think it was
keep
with
track.
Andrew because I was listening to re-listening.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Andrew.
the
Oh,
episode
was
with
it?
Andrew,
Okay.
yeah.
So it was 2 weeks ago, right?
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, I got history. I can do it quick.
Today in history.
It doesn't matter, Craig. What matters is you lost in the championship. It's that simple. 868, the earliest surviving dated printed book was produced in China. 868. I re-looked this up because I thought this had to be a mistake. 1930, the first airline steward goes on duty, serving obviously drinks and shit like that. The
Peanuts.
flight attendants
Was it
were
Pan Am?
it didn't say actually.
Oh.
The flight attendants were also responsible for back then for refueling the aircraft, handling luggage, and checking tickets.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I found that.
Yeah, I definitely want the person running the airplane fuel
Yeah.
to pour my
if
drink.
you don't
Like-
mind, is that diesel? Is that jet fuel? I taste.
Yeah.
You should have probably washed your hands.
It's 114 octane jet fuel.
1940, the first McDonald's fast food restaurant opens. That was in. It didn't say.
I almost read a
Oh, San
McDonald's news story
Bernardino,
today.
California.
I was going to say, is that the one where Ray Kroc ran it or he hadn't gotten involved yet? Right? Because the guy that started McDonald's is not the guy who made McDonald's famous.
All right. It was. Let's see. Maurice Mack and Richard Dick.
This is beforehand.
His name is Dick Dick. What the fuck is
Dick
that?
Dick.
Yo, what's
Yeah.
up, man? My name's Dick Dick. How you
Dick.
doing?
Well, no, it's like
I'm
it's like,
Deuce Dick or Dick
Yeah.
Squared, whatever
Yeah.
you want to do.
Yeah. My friends call me Rich Dick.
No, it's Maurice in quotes. It's Mac,
Okay.
and Richard in quotes. It's Dick.
So the Big Mac, that makes
So
sense.
they're not like, hey, let's make a Dick sandwich.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say they can't have the McDick.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Can I get 2 McDicks?
Can you
Can I
imagine
get
it?
a
Oh my
can I
God.
get a McDick double?
If they had
That'd be
hot
great.
dogs and called them the McDicks,
That's so good. Missed opportunity.
What a king size that?
can I get 3 McDicks all the way?
And it was open as a barbecue place in San Bernardino. That's how that started.
Ribs
So-
and
I didn't
dicks.
know
That's
that.
what you get.
There's been a bunch of documentaries about it, but the one with Michael Keaton,
Yeah,
where he
I haven't
plays
seen
the
that.
founder,
Is that good?
Yeah,
the founder,
that was
yeah.
good.
So he comes in and like revolutionizes. He sees what they're doing and realizes it's an opportunity to like make it bigger.
1996, a Value Jet Flight 592 crashed into the Florida Everglades shortly after takeoff. I remember this.
That's what you get for driving.
All
All it
100
says value jet. I want expensive jet. Thank you very much.
All 110 people on board lost their lives, and the crash was caused by a fire in the cargo. Now, I thought this plane was never recovered,
Okay.
so I didn't look this up, but I was hoping you would remember this a little bit. I thought this plane was never recovered.
This is the one, the Everglades.
Yes, and I don't know how they realized how it must have been a. I got to look this up because
There's been so many. Lately
Well,
that
the
was
black
terrible,
box
but-
probably
probably
would be able to see where the smoke
that's my
detector went
point.
off first.
I don't think nothing was recovered from this wreck.
They found the
From my
black box and the
understanding.
anaconda. In
So
Brazil.
I don't
Yeah,
know if it was the last radio transmission.
maybe.
Oh, okay.
I should have looked that up, but I wasn't looking.
There's,
stuff
I mean,
up
there's so many
previously
plane
today.
wrecks in the Everglades. Like,
Is there? There's a lot.
I don't think like commercial stuff, but a lot of little stuff goes down.
Yes,
guess.
significant
No
portions
shit.
of ValueJet Flight 592, including the flight data recorder, were recovered from
Oh
the
wow!
Everglades
I
crash
didn't.
site.
Because I remember this happening.
Recovery efforts involve teams, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
About 75% of the aircraft was recovered.
Wow! I didn't know
And
that. Okay.
68 of the 110 victims were identified.
The rest were alligator food.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well,
Definitely.
that's it. That's all I got to offer today.
That's all interesting topics
I thought it was pretty
that
good.
elicited some conversation. Great job today, Mark.
Oh, thanks, pal.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll see you guys later.
Just a little attaboy. There you go.
Yeah.
Good job.
Golf clap.
Yeah.
Want to dive on into our main topic?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm staring at all this stuff.
Yeah.
You can say shit. It's fine. You can call it shit.
no,
I don't
I wanna-
care. I call it shit.
Mark, we're uncensored, remember?
Yeah, that's
Uncensored.
So
When I try not to swear is when it's more comical.
the
Yeah.
crash course 2 years ago, we had Aaron on. I've known Aaron for a long time, and I knew that he did some really neat stuff with 3D printing and attended a lot of conventions doing really neat cosplay stuff, and everything he has, he makes himself. And it's apparent that his attention to detail is far superior to many others in the same hobby spectrum here. So I thought it was important to talk to somebody who actually had this attention to detail.
No, I agree. I was just gonna say, no, even if you're not into this stuff, you
That's
can't,
what I mean, because
you-
I
you
don't
can't
understand.
discard the
The
detail.
level of
Yeah.
artistry is out
Right,
of
that's
control.
it. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Today's details are brought to you by neurodivergence.
I haven't slept since 1977.
I run on caffeine in a dream, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, no, Aaron makes a lot of rad stuff and goes to a bunch of events for it. And I'm excited to take a deep dive on into it. And he also utilizes a lot of cool 3D printing technology that I'm not that familiar with. So it's cool to hear about how that stuff can help and change and advance the game of costume making. So, with that said, Aaron, since you were here last time, I know you do the PAX events. Have there been any other events that you've gone to?
So I try to go to a lot of the events in the Northeast now, but I'm trying to branch out to other things down the East Coast because there's a lot of bigger cons down in nicer areas like down in Georgia and Florida and obviously out in California and stuff. That's where people really get together.
Yep.
So I'm going to try to branch out to more of those.
Yep.
But it's more so just, I guess, gaining the confidence to really like immerse myself in the community of like cosplay because it's really diverse, and being like not even just a new person, but somebody who like doesn't, I guess, see their stuff on the same level as other people. Like you look up to them and you always want to like absorb from them. And I'm very like everything I want to like immerse myself in and learn and stuff like that. So now that I have like a community of people who I look up to,
Yeah.
it's just so interesting to see how far I've come and how far they've come, but also like how much people on the like the newer end like attach to those people. So now I felt that natural shift of me like into a kind of a different position now, even though I don't necessarily agree 100%, but it's like I get
Like you
people
feel like you have like imposter syndrome, right?
oh, perfect. Yeah, like literally I felt that kind of after the first day at PAX, to be totally honest. Like straight up imposter syndrome. Like I'm around some of the
Like
most
really well-known
these
people,
talented
in this
people
community.
who I've looked up to. I've been doing this I first started cosplaying in 2013 is the first time I did it.
Yeah, so it's been
it's
12
over
years,
a
13
decade.
years, yeah.
And like these are people that I'm friends with now that it's just naturally evolved who I've looked up to for over a decade.
Yeah.
And it's wild to have them complimenting my stuff and asking how I'm doing things. And I'm like, I like learned from you. Like I learned
Yeah.
aspects of painting and things like that from you. And it's humbling, but it also, you get the imposter syndrome really bad sometimes where you're just kind of like,
Well, I think that's just like you're looking at your stuff all day, every day. But from an outside perspective, when you do go to these things, like I see the pictures that you post with other people or stuff that like you're tagged in next to 10 other people. And I'm like, wow, Aaron shit's like the best out of everybody in that picture. And it's like, not because I know you. It's like, no, it's like the best version of that thing, you know? So it's cool to see, even just since in 2 years, how much more your stuff, the detail and stuff has improved. It's really, really cool.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And I really like, so there's a wild, I almost brought the other mask. It's another Borderlands mask because I've been doing Borderlands for over 10 years.
The Pyramid Head one, is that a Borderlands thing too?
No, that's from a horror franchise called Silent Hill. That's so Pyramid Head's he's like a horror icon of the 21st century now. Like, people for some reason obsess over him.
Yeah,
he's cool. He's psychological horror, but like the Borderlands stuff is very like this is from the new Borderlands, so it's like that comic book kind of style.
Yeah,
everything's over illustrated. The lines don't make sense and things like that. So I had one mask from
that's like where like the cell shading look came into. Like everyone's doing that on cars now too.
Yeah. Like I mean, like even this thing, like this is just an accessory for one cosplay. That's all cell shaded. This is one accessory of a huge build that I've been working on for a couple of years that I just kind of, every once in a while I jump back into it.
So that one's kind of just like a back burner you work on a little bit.
This is literally just an accessory that hangs off a backpack. So like the amount of illustration and stuff that goes in it.
Now this is a 3D printed piece.
Yeah. It's and
then it's painted.
Dog bowl that I painted over.
Yep.
And like hand painted and blended and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So like I have one from Borderlands 3, one of the masks that I wear and I've worn for a while. I hated the mask.
Yep.
I hated my paint job. I hated the line work. I hated it, like to the point where I wouldn't even look at it.
Yeah.
But I kept it in the living room so I could stare at it and be like, wow, that thing sucks. Like I need to get better.
Pick apart all the things you don't like about it.
Yeah. So one day I got bored and I got aggravated and I was like, I'm sanding this whole thing off and I'm restarting.
Yep.
And just after not touching it for like 2 or 3 years and then redoing it, it is now one of my favorite masks and it sits in the living room for a totally different reason now. I look at it all the time. I was like, "Fuck!"
Now you're like proud of it.
I've gotten better at this, and I'm like, because like the understanding of concepts and like the mistakes that I've made and like why I hated the old one.
Yeah.
Like, and I usually never talk about that. I'm usually just like, whatever. I don't talk about that mask. I wore it once, and I was like, this thing sucks.
Yeah.
And now it's like literally one of my favorite pieces because I'm like everything on it looked perfect, and like everything was scaled perfectly. It fit everything else like with the costume, and I was like, wow. I've gotten better, but I didn't realize that I had gotten better at that style in particular.
Now that you've redone that one and it's an older one, like when you had that event recently, just last week, did you wear that one or?
The only reason why I didn't is because so they did a Gearbox Software who does Borderlands. They did a Borderlands panel. So this is a mask based on like 3 or 4 different reference photos from the new game. It's not even
out yet.
It's not even out yet. It doesn't come out till September.
Oh, wow.
So literally
cool.
This is based on like, I think it's like maybe 15 seconds of total video anything that like
so that character's not even a thing yet, really.
Not even really a thing. And it's kind of like nobody's really seen them in action. Normally people take like hundreds of reference screenshots from the game and they put them all side by side.
Yeah.
I was like,
well, and that gives you an idea of the movements and the personality traits and all that stuff too.
Yeah, I just act like a deranged idiot when I put it on.
Nice.
It's masking in real life, so it's great. I can just
I saw there's
behind
wires in there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's wires behind the eyes. I actually have to rewire the LEDs. I want to put stronger LEDs in there, but there's little blank areas that have these little square highlights. It's hard because the lights are bright in here, but they just have squares. So I see in between the 2 LED lights.
Yep.
But the LED lights create like a little rectangle pattern.
Yeah, it's like a honeycomb almost.
Yeah. So
cool.
I see actually in between those. So it's now I've gotten a lot better. That's another thing I've gotten better at is making things comfortable for me to wear. Because like I remember
making it look great and being comfortable to use is different.
We talked about the Forest Spirit last time, the big giant one I wore on the stilts.
Yeah.
My feet took like 6 months to recover from that because of the stilts, because I made the stilts not comfortable.
Yeah.
But I was also like, I think I was like 7'8" in that thing or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
It was tall and I was squatting and like walking around awkward. So now like I wore Pyramid Head for like 12 hours the other day.
That's pretty good.
And that's another one that I'm like super happy with.
That wasn't on stilts, right?
No, that was just regular old Demonia boots. So it was pretty good. I had the insoles in, and I was like, yeah, going for comfort.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So did anyone else have that character?
Nope.
You were the only one.
I was the only one.
So the people from the
a
game
bunch of
company
people going,
must have been like,
fuck, I knew I should have done that.
So I've met the CEO of Gearbox a couple of times, and he looked at that. He goes, how the fuck did you make that already? And I was like, and I have a friend of mine who also did another character from the game based upon like no references at all.
Yeah, like-
so we were the only two from the 4th game where they're just like, how the fuck do you guys do this?
Yeah.
Like literally we had people asking us like, how do you do this? We got problems.
You're lucky.
Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to be the first to like do it, so I just kind of did.
At first, when I saw that, I'm like, I didn't remember the guy with the gun that you had last time.
guy?
Oh yeah, well, the ones with all the spikes or the shoot me in the face guy?
The shoot me in the face guy.
Oh god, shoot me in the
At
face
first,
guy.
I was thinking it was the shoot me in the face guy mask, like a different version of it. And I'm like, no, it's different.
Essentially, it is. It's the same type of character. It's
Yeah.
like this is a new type of character. So that guy, the shoot me in the face guy, is he's hilarious because I could just run around and literally like scream at anybody who has a prop gun, and I can harass them until they take a picture with me shooting me in the face.
And they all know what you're
people
talking
love it.
about.
They're like, oh, I've literally followed like a dude who was dressed as the Punisher walking around, and I was like, shoot me in the goddamn face, just screaming behind him, and then he finally turns around and he shoots me. I'm like, thank you. Like, oh. Yeah, and that
I think you were finishing this one.
Yeah, that one's Nine Toes. He's like the first boss from the first game, and I wore that one this weekend at PAX.
I think you had just finished the safety first sign. Like,
Safety first in your crotch.
I think you brought that sign with you,
did.
maybe,
Yep.
and that
Yeah.
was like, and the rest of the costume wasn't done yet.
Oh, it's so great too because at PAX I finally got a video of me doing the hip thrust with the safety first, like he does
nice.
in the game. So it was just beautiful. I was like, it finally came full circle.
Yep.
But like, yeah, all the spikes and everything, I've made that more comfortable so I can wear that for hours on end and just like get extra twitchy with people. And
Nice.
yeah, it's a good time. It's pretty fun.
I feel like
That's the one on the right is the stills one, right?
yeah, the forest spirit one.
That's the stilt guy. I almost brought that mask, but again, a little too big for the table.
Yeah.
That mask is up on my wall.
I mean, from an outside perspective, I feel like this community is like super similar to the Volkswagen community. It's like super tight knit, and like everybody kind of knows everybody. Once you start getting into like the Facebook groups and the Reddit groups and all that shit.
Everybody knows each other by their like screen names.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I had
yeah.
somebody come up to me like, "Hey, wait, terrorist cosplay. I know you." And I was like, "Well, my name's Aaron, but
Yeah.
I was like, "We're getting on a first name basis, man." I was like, "I don't do the screen name names. Like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I want to know your actual name. I want you to know my name." Like, but it's weird like that people know it.
Yeah.
Like, and then this year, another thing that I did at PAX is like it's the first time I actually did like full body painting, or like
Oh, wow.
So like with Nine Toes where I have all the spikes up on screen.
This one here?
Like, yeah, that's
Yep.
that's the first time I've done like the full body painting.
Yeah, yeah.
So PAX was on Thursday. Wednesday night, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try this. I'm gonna try to like paint the abs and paint everything and do
Just see
whatever
how it
and do the
looks.
shape and see how it looks. Thursday morning, I'm up doing it. I was like, all right, it came out okay. So I'm sitting there just like literally in the mirror painting on myself and trying to get it to match references in the game.
Yeah.
And like, I couldn't believe the amount of people who actually like noticed that detail.
Yeah.
And literally like,
Well, because
praised
there
it
are
to me.
other people with that same character that didn't have the body cell shading, right?
Yeah, and I was like, I was like, wow. I was like, when I told people it was my first time doing it, they're like, you're lying. I'm like, no. I was like, dude, I was sitting there with acrylic paint and a paintbrush this morning, going, God, I hope this doesn't suck.
Well,
no, all I
it's
do
6
is-
a.m. and I'm painting my nipples.
exactly.
Here we go.
What has happened in my life?
Oh, the best part about so I make it a point to do the black outline around the nipples every time because that's like a core part of Borderlands is just like you gotta have the nipple shaded. So one of the lead like I forget what her title is, but she's one of the lead people on the new game, and she looks at me and she just like literally stares right at me, and she's like, "Your nipples are cell shaded," and I'm like,
Yes.
Why? Yes, they are.
Thanks for
And
noticing.
she's like, I love that. I'm like, thank you so much. I'm getting her autograph on the Borderlands 4 poster. She goes, I'm gonna make you a special one. She takes a silver Sharpie and she highlights the nipple. She goes, this is a 1 of 1. If I see this on eBay, I'm gonna fucking hunt you down. She's like, this is just because you have shaded nipples. And I'm like,
awesome.
I never thought my nipples would get me somewhere, but thank you. I appreciate it.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. But and that's like the crazy part about it too. It's like that people, there are people in the cosplay community that are extremely toxic.
Yeah.
Like there is a really bad side to it where people get very elitist and they're like, if you're not screen accurate or you don't do something super accurate to the references, you suck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is artistic expression. So if you took that character, the person who designed that character in the game, and you had another person do it, it would look different. If you had another person from the same team try to recreate it, it would look different. So I'm like,
hell, even if the same person tried to recreate it, they probably do it
exactly.
different.
Right.
But then there's people who are just like, I had somebody who posted the other day, and there was somebody in random commenting on how their hair on their wig was the wrong color, that it was not black.
Yeah.
It's dark brown in the game.
Yeah.
From a fucking PlayStation 2 game from like 2002,
Yeah.
where it's all pixelated, and you're like, oh, dark brown versus black, and actually like dying on that hill, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why you gotta be like, why do you have?
How
to be
old
that
is
way?
Borderlands?
Borderlands came out in 2000. I was in college when it came out, so it was like 2011. I think
Wow.
the first one came out, maybe even older than that. I can't exactly remember. My concept of time is not great.
Is it like a first person shooter?
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
basically, so what Borderlands did is it like revolutionized like.
I was never like big. I played like Call of Duty a little bit. I was never like huge into video games.
Yeah, it's like a looter shooter. So basically, like the only objective
2009.
is 2009. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That was the other number, 2009. Yeah, so when I graduated high school is when Borderlands 1 came out. Great.
Yep.
But it was basically, so it's a looter shooter. So the game randomizes all the guns and the shields and the weapons and all that other stuff. And so every time, even if you kill
And
the
it's
same
obviously not like realistic accurate or anything.
boss,
The
no,
guns are all
God
made
no,
up and
it's
stuff.
it's
yeah.
and the big thing about Borderlands is it was a looter shooter and there was so much comedy in it, but it was like toilet humor from like the late 2000s. Like,
Yeah.
it's hilarious.
yeah, like
it's
even this character, like the safety
like,
first
that's
over the crotch
So that's
and
the
stuff.
first boss you run into in the game, and it says safety first over his crotch.
Yeah.
His name is Nine Toes, and there's like a title screen that comes up over his head, and it says, also he has 3 balls. and it's just like that kind of stupid comedy throughout the game. Every
Yeah.
outhouse you see in it says Duke Hut, no fapping. Like it's what it says on the side. I'm like, oh, it's just like that kind of toilet humor, like
Yeah.
childish shit.
Yeah.
That's just, it's so good sometimes.
And it was originally a PlayStation game?
It was on all
Oh,
of them.
like
It was on
PC
PlayStation,
and everything,
Xbox, and
yeah.
stuff like and it's just kind of evolved. Like it's kind of like
It seems like it's taken on a community and a life of its own way beyond
yeah.
the game now.
yeah. I'm luckily surrounded by some of the best like Borderlands cosplayers there are in that community that I saw and I've seen year over year at PAX, and they're such awesome people, and they're just like such humble people, and they're always willing to help out. And we're all screwing around. Like, we're all realize that we're just in costume and we're just playing around, and that's just what we do.
Yeah.
And we don't take it too seriously. But I mean, there are other communities where it's very elitist and people are actually like aggressive over it, and I'm like, bro, you're a grown ass adult dressing up in costume.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Let's be realistic here.
Yeah.
You're a grown ass adult dressing up in costume. We all
Let's
are.
remember where we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Calm down.
It's not that serious.
Like, just chill. It doesn't have to be serious.
No. Yeah, it's pretty wild stuff. So this was that same character last year, was it?
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, 44 weeks ago.
Yeah,
so
that was a friend of mine who does like very, very good photography and very good edits, and she was
So
experimenting
that's
with
like, is that
different
like in a game map pretty much edited in?
Yeah, she basically edited in like what you would think like a game map from it looks like and things like that, and drew from like game inspiration, which is just awesome because then I get to meet photographers too. I get to meet these ultra talented photographers that I've made friends with over years, and just seeing them.
And
like,
this must be so much more interesting for them to photograph than just like regular people, I'd imagine.
yeah, and they. We talk about it, and it's always like that curiosity. And that was the one thing about PAX this year, is that I noticed that everybody was very observant and they're willing to talk shop.
Yep.
Some
About
places
how
like-
they do things.
So PAX isn't known as PAX is a gaming convention. It's not necessarily a cosplay convention. So when I started going to PAX, there was no cosplay. Like
Yeah.
there was maybe a handful of people. Now it's getting more and more like as these people release games and things like that, the community's getting bigger. But it's always very friendly.
Yep.
You go to ones like next week, there's Anime Boston. That's one of the biggest conventions that comes to the area.
You go to that one too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a totally different atmosphere. So like 90% of people are in cosplay, and the attitude surrounding it is totally different. Like
People are like way more serious.
they're more me centric. They
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
stop and talk. They don't ask how you made something. They don't do this. They're like, no, take pictures of me. Look
Yep.
at me. And
Oh, okay.
fuck you, kind of.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
opposed
yeah.
to PAX, where everybody's like, can I get a picture with you? Can you talk? Can we share? Can I message you? Can I do this? Can I do that?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'd rather have the talk shop dynamic because I can yap about this
So
shit.
they're looking to be the star.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like people, they just they want to be the center of attention. And I get it. Like, it's a pretty awesome experience when someone's praising your stuff.
Yeah.
But the cosplays are also very different. At Anime Boston, they're very... I'm just being general, but they're a lot more sexualized.
Yeah,
They're a lot more anime style. I'm not big into anime. I'm not a big fan. It's just, I go because a lot of my friends go. And the dynamic is very different. And it's crazy because I talk with other people and they see the exact same shift. They see, it's a lot more like...
It's like, where's the line of like slutty Halloween costume versus...
and I don't knock it at all. Like, there's still people who fully make their stuff. There's one convention that takes place at a water park down in Georgia, I think, somewhere like that. So everybody's in like bikinis and stuff like that, and they do like
and that's
they do,
just
like,
the
beach-
environment.
They do like the beach versions. Some people take it to an extreme, and that's fine. And obviously, that's transitioned into cosplay for OnlyFans, and they do that. And I see a clear divide between artistry and advertisement.
Yeah.
And I'm
there's
just
people
firmly
into
on
it for different reasons.
Yeah, I'm firmly on the side of just I do it, I guess, for artistry. You know, I do it to just experience versus I'm not trying to sell something. I'm not trying to sell me. I'm not even trying to sell like my skills. I go there and
you're not going there offering to build stuff for people or anything. You're building the stuff for yourself.
Yeah, I do commissions, which is we'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll
talk about that big guy at some point.
Yeah.
But I do commissions, but I do commissions for friends.
Yeah,
like people who like they give me a project that I want to do, like that I'm passionate about. If somebody comes to me with an idea and they're like, "Hey, I want to make this," and I'm like,
you're not mass producing stuff that you're selling.
I'm like, let's fucking do it. I don't sell just like raw 3D prints of masks and just hand it to people. I don't just do the same thing over and over again because I don't want it to turn into a chore. I do it because it keeps my mind occupied. It lets me practice different medias and different things like that. And it keeps me engaged. And it helps me like work with people because I like talking to the people that I make stuff for. This is how I'm making this. This is what I'm going to do, how I itemize things, what my thought process is. And because I'm on the cosplayer side, like I know what it's like to carry the shit around all day and wave the shit around all day. And
you want to make it as user-friendly as possible.
Exactly.
Like, this might not be a great idea because I can tell you from experience after an hour, it's not going to be any fun to wear anymore.
Well, that's like you were talking about the whole like some events versus other events. Even with car shows, I think it's the same way. There's like some events where it's like ultra nerd fest. Like the one I went to in Jersey is like ultra nerd fest, Mark II May Day, and it's like, oh, let me see what type of clamps you used on your coolant hose. Oh, do you have the radiator with this cap or that one? And I like that shit. I want to see every little like, oh, why did you use those screws? Or why did you use this heat shrink? Like, I want to see all that stuff. Whereas some shows, it's just like trophy hunters and elitist pricks, and it's a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's the same thing. It's a different vibe. People are in it for different reasons.
It's just people are people. That's what I chalk it up to, and that's been like my personal growth. Is like
people are terrible.
People are people, and people are inherently like I get it. People want attention, they want recognition, and things like that. And I love giving that recognition and that attention, like to people who give it to others. Like if I run, so I actually kind of have like a rule on my Instagram and stuff. I don't really follow people with a shitload of followers. Yeah. Because I want people I can interact with. Yeah. I want people who I can have a discourse with. If we could disagree on something, if we can agree on something, if we can share knowledge and come together on that, that's what I want. I'm not in it for a population game. I'm not in it for, I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah. And it's not a popularity contest. You want someone who's actually going to be, friends that you can actually interact with and share skills and ideas with.
I want to Bob Ross this shit. You know, I want to sit there and be like, here's me doing my little happy tree. Everywhere. My happy tree and my happy little cloud. Like, and that's what I like is like talking shop. Like when I wore Pyramid Head this weekend, and that's why I wore the big guy for 2 days. So this thing.
So you wore this for 2 of the 4 days.
2 days. I wore it all day Saturday, all day Sunday.
Yep.
And I had a friend who helped me make the leather work and stuff on the apron. I did this dressing. So that helmet is based upon a foam template that was for free put out by another creator called SKS Props, who's a great guy. He's absolutely fantastic, and he puts stuff out. That's me exhausted. Don't worry about that. I was acting like bitchy Pyramid Head for the day because that's another thing too.
I can't even tie my shoes. You got 4 buckles on your fucking.
That is my favorite question. That's kind of what I was alluding to.
I'm like looking at this. I'm like, okay.
So I made the whole helmet. I added the rust. I did all that. And then I was like, all right, how the fuck am I going to see out of this thing? because everybody else
it's
just
made out of foam.
It's made out of high density EVA foam, so it weighs probably like 2.5 pounds, and it's huge. Like the thing is gigantic. Like the inside diameter is the diameter like my punching bag. It literally is sitting on my punching bag right now, like propped on it. So it's the width of my shoulders, and so it's all foam. And I was like, all right, how am I going to see out of this thing? Because I didn't want to do the whole front panel of mesh because it takes away from the game references, and I wanted to make this one as accurate as humanly possible to the game. Like, because they just came out with a remake, had high-res screenshots, all this other stuff. So I was like, I'm going to make it as accurate as humanly possible. How do I do it without mesh? So me, in my risky stupidity, I was like, I'm going to take a borescope, and I'm going to wire up a borescope to the inside of one of the holes in the front. I use a camera to see.
Shut the
Dude,
fuck up.
so this is the jacked up setup that I got.
You have a camera screen in there to see?
So there's a power pack in the back.
Yeah.
And there's a bag in the back of in the helmet that's part of like a breathing apparatus for him or something like that. It's not quite explained. So I hit a power pack, like a big ass battery pack.
Yep.
It's wired into 2 fans on either side that keeps me cool so I can wear it all day. Because wearing foam on your head all day, there's no way for the heat to go.
So you have fans in there.
So there's fans going in there.
Yep.
And then I have a phone mount in front of me on an angle, and my phone goes in there. The borescope is up high. Like if you go, I think there's one picture that shows the hole if you go on the left. Nope, next one. So there's a hole right.
Oh, way up top.
Nope, right in the middle.
where this
like
is?
down below
Down
the
to the
ring,
right.
on the right side.
This?
Nope, too far.
No, I can see it's on the
I
line.
can see it. It's on the right. Do you know where your
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
right
here.
is?
Right there you go.
Right there. So there's a tiny little camera. I think it's like a 1/4-inch diameter in there.
That
And it
is
comes out of the
insane.
wire.
Damn.
Cool.
And it plugs into my phone.
That's pretty cool.
The amount of people that ask me, they're like, dude, how the fuck do you see? And I could be like, oh, I can see, just no problem. I could be that person. So I'm like, no, you want to see? And like, do you actually want to know? And like, yeah. I lift the helmet up and I'm like, look inside. So they're looking inside and they can see the phone set up. They can see where it's wired, where the power pack's going. And I had people going, I'd love to use that for another helmet. And I was like, hang on, I'll send you the build list. And I literally send them the itemized list of what you can get on Amazon, where you can get it. And I'm like, this is what you can get and this is what you need. I was like, you need help, reach out to me, figure out how to program it in because I want to use it for other things.
Wow.
So I got a buddy who told me about this thing that you should do that I should do because I do the same thing with car shit. People are like, oh, wow, I've been looking for grommets that fit that. I'm like, here's the grommet kit that I bought. Here's the heat shrink kit, all Amazon. And they have these affiliate links.
Mm-hmm.
And I should do it.
Yep.
I'm an idiot because it's just free money.
That's what people were telling me. They're like, you should just sell it as a kit. They're like,
Well, even if you just do it as an affiliate link, you just set up an account and you link all the shit that you've bought. And then when you send someone a link that is linked to your profile, you accrue money on your Amazon account.
Oh, shit.
And they're paying the same amount for it. All it's doing is giving you credit for pointing them to it.
Yep.
We should do that.
We should. We absolutely should.
Yeah.
Because and that was
Because it
crazy.
doesn't hurt them and we're still benefiting from it. It's all good.
Because that was the thing I was talking about, where we talk about learning over time, right? So it's like I've had masks that I can't wear for an extended period because I just can't breathe. Like you just can't breathe. And I mean, sometimes you go into those conventions and people are a little stinky, you know?
Yeah, I bet.
They're a little
I
stinky.
mean, latex and rubber doesn't breathe, does it?
No, these are people who are wearing tee and shorts, and
yes.
for some reason showers are like a once a year type thing.
Yeah.
To the point where there's always a PSA pre-con where it's like, hey, can we remember? Let's use soap, let's use deodorant, let's do this.
Yeah.
And I get it. Some people have glandular problems and stuff like that. I get it.
Yeah.
But why are you getting all those people together in the same place?
Exactly. I'm like,
Hey, let's face it, hardcore shows the same way. There's always a couple stinky
but I'm
guys.
like, PAX brings in like 120,000 people to Boston for a weekend.
Yeah.
Can we please use deodorant?
Yeah.
Old Spice Pro, like some sports stuff right there. Look, little
There's
plug
so
for Old
much
Spice.
stuff out.
But like
You walk into it looks like a metal detector, but it's just spraying you with body deodorant.
deodorizer. But it's it was one of those things. Like I didn't sweat at all weekend, walking around nonstop.
I would have never imagined having incorporated fans into it. That's crazy. So were they like computer fans pretty much?
They're literally they're like laptop fans with like a 3D printed case that I did around them.
Yeah.
So that way I could direct it. But then I built a mount inside, so if it got too hot, I could flip them around and turn them to exhausts.
Okay, so
I
you
could
can have
pull-
them as pusher fans or
Yep.
puller
so
fans.
either it sucks from underneath and pushes into my face, or I
Yeah.
could flip them and I could angle them and everything, so like I could change
That's
it.
cool.
The only problem is I can't really hear people. So now I'm
Yeah.
going to add I'm going to add mics on either side, stereoscopic mics, so I can actually hear people.
Okay.
Because
so
I
you
got
can
people
have
asking me questions. They're like, Pyramid Head. I'm like, who, where?
Yeah.
I have no, and I'm using a camera.
Yeah, so
with
you
like-
have no like depth perception.
Literally, I'm like
around
100. I got like
Yeah.
I think I probably got like 80 degrees of field of vision out of the boroscope, and I'm like, where the hell are you? Like,
that's so
where are you,
funny.
disembodied voice?
Yeah.
So other than
This is a foam template. It's not 3D printed.
Nope. No. Oh God, no. Nope. That is
Yeah.
all. So it's all EVA foam. I think it's
So
maybe.
it's flat pieces of foam essentially.
Yeah, it comes in big sheets that you lay out, and
And
then
it's all different thicknesses you can buy.
Yep. And you basically just build the template together like you would any like fabric or anything. You just glue it together at certain angles, and then you bevel it, and
Yep.
then you start coating it in lots and lots of pumice stone, which is how I did the rust. There's like a
Yeah, because it really does look like metallic
Yeah.
rust. Like the fact that that's foam is crazy.
I was gonna use real rust.
What type of foam is
I
it
don't
again?
think that's a good idea.
So that's the foam is EVA. So
Okay.
it's like a high density closed cell foam. So it's pretty rigid.
I don't
and then
know, I don't know what John's up to, but he's very interested in this phone.
I know.
John's like, I'm gonna cover my whole
He's like, you
car
know
in
what?
this material.
Yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna upholster things in this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. Don't do that.
So I
EVA
noticed.
foam.
So I know nothing about this character.
Yep.
All right, but now that I knew where the camera was, did you add that, John? If you go to the left, is he serious?
The
left.
No, left
Left
up
of
on
the
on
camera.
the fucking.
Oh,
Give me a goddamn mouse.
So
what do you want?
what are we talking about? We're talking about
Right.
we're talking about the ring. All right,
Right there.
that hole. Yep.
Now was that put there on purpose?
Yep.
Kind of like throw a diversion there.
Yep.
All right.
Exactly. Yep. So
What?
there's a few of
How
them.
did you see that?
I'm not an idiot. I saw that after we talked about the camera there. I'm like, oh, okay. And I knew once he mentioned what was going on, I'm like, oh, it's got to be, you thought it was left when we said right.
Yeah,
So you had to, it took a while for you to get to the bus stop.
Directions are hard. Directions are hard. Your left or my left?
Yeah, so
We're
I'm like,
backwards
I'm
now,
looking at the
so.
detail, and I'm like, wait a minute.
The left as if I'm Pyramid Head?
No one's interested in
Or
this.
the left
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
screen.
Driver,
You're out.
passenger,
Oh,
driver,
stop it.
passenger. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Europe or American?
Yeah.
I was just looking at the details, and I noticed there's not another one really anywhere. Maybe down below on the right side, but that was the two are very.
Yeah, I added, and there's
Specific.
even
Yeah, yeah.
side. There's even one on right next to the camera that's like a crease that like I added because I wanted to take the eyes away from it.
Yeah.
I had one person who spotted the lens
Oh, wow.
out of all of the
No
people who
kidding.
stopped me. I had, and of course, it's my friend Nate, who's a photographer, and he saw it immediately. He goes, he holds it, he takes pictures of me, and then he holds it right up to the camera. And I was like, Nate, how the hell did you know? He goes, oh, I just know. He's like, I could just tell.
You should have just said
And I was
thanks,
like,
nerd.
I was like, you motherfucker. But he was the only one
Yeah.
all weekend who was like, you can see. And then when I showed people, I was like, yeah, right here.
the detail to everything, like if you, like I said, you didn't mention you had a cam. Like that's why I said, how the fuck are you looking out of this? Because there's nothing I can see here possible.
No,
So
it's
fucking
so.
Yeah, it was that first picture for me.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ashley for taking those pictures of me. Like random, these are like random iPhone pictures. And I was like, dude, we were just standing on the
These
lighting.
pictures in this hallway are so good.
Yeah.
That's what we were walking through. We're like, we got to find a good spot
good- yeah.
with like the upper lighting at BCEC in Boston. And we were
right.
just walking around at like 9 o'clock at night. And we saw that one. And it highlighted the red on the blade and everything
Yeah.
because that's like a 5-foot sword.
I was
So
say, that
trying to
sword's
get that,
enormous.
trying to get that in.
What's that made out of?
So the hilt up until you see that line is a 3D printed box, and then there's a screw going through the center of it, and then the blade itself I made out of insulation foam board. I cut that out and hand carved it, like literally with a steak knife. I carved
Yeah.
it all out as if you would like actually making a real knife. So there's a hole going through the center. The screw actually works.
All right.
The Phillips head screw actually backs up, and I can pull the blade out if it breaks, because I was worried about it breaking. So I didn't want to remake the whole thing out of one big ass
Sure.
piece. I was like, all right, I'll just make insertable blades for the foam. So if you unscrew the screw and you could pull the blade out, and I can replace the blade if I ever
That's
break
cool.
it.
So the blade replaces at this line here, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
what's your go-to adhesive for this stuff?
Oh god, I have like 12 of them.
Yeah.
It all depends on what you're using.
What
so,
you're
Like
doing.
what you're gluing together.
so
Fuck.
for all the foam, all the EVA foam,
Yeah.
best thing that works is contact cement. They make this stuff. There's stuff called barge. It's used for like the soles of shoes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It works really well. It stays tacky long enough where you can reposition. You hit it with a heat
really?
gun and it turns sticky, but once it holds, it ain't letting go.
Yeah.
Because if you use super glue,
If you reheated it though, would it let go?
no.
No, wow.
Once it cures, it's done.
So that's it. Yeah.
So if I want something that I can reheat and replace, I just use hot glue. I use black hot glue so it conducts heat really well, so I can reheat it and reapply and readhere. If I want things that are never, ever, ever gonna come apart, 2-part epoxy works really
Yeah,
well.
always the best.
Because
2-part
obviously,
epoxy's
2-part epoxy is
unbelievable.
like what was the other one? I use liquid nail. That also works really well. Just stick it in the caulking gun and squirt that
I
in.
always feel like that has a shelf life. As
Yeah.
adhesive, like it just starts to break down.
I think it's if you open
Yeah.
it and let it sit and then try to use
Yeah.
it again, then
Yeah.
you get that film on the top, and then that's not.
Well,
hot-
I mean, like after you use it to glue things
Oh,
together,
right.
I think
gets
eventually-
weaker
I
over
feel like
time.
it breaks down.
Yeah.
Especially when you're
The Harbor
With
Freight
that stuff.
2-part epoxy, I've used a bunch, and it's actually
2 parts
really
are
good.
the best.
Oh yeah.
It's the fucking
It
best.
smells awful.
What's that other stuff too that comes in the tube? That's like a
JB Weld.
it's like a G.
Oh, no, that's not really.
It's
like
the
a,
metal. It's like something metal or something like that. Is another one that
It's
comes.
like
in
a. Is it like a clay?
Is it quick,
Yeah.
quick
Yeah.
metal?
Yeah.
WIK.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
like
stuff.
quick sheet.
Yeah.
We've used that.
And then at work because I do
Like clay,
I
yeah.
do like med device. So for those I do medical device engineering.
We were talking about that on the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure he works in some sort of medical equipment field.
Yeah, so I work at a med device contract manufacturer, so we get access to a lot of crazy adhesives that are like they're biocompatible. So Loctite makes one called Loctite 4311, and that stuff is like god tier. If I
When
want
it's
to put
just
stuff
a
together.
number or a letter, you know it's good.
Oh yeah,
We used
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
My brother got this stuff for paint stripping, and it was just called like B12.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah,
no
yeah.
name, no nothing.
It comes in a blank can,
Yeah.
no label. It's
No
like you put
fucking
this
label.
on.
Like,
Skull and
this is a good shit.
crossbones,
Yeah.
and that shit would take the fucking bark off a tree.
That's like the stuff I use to
Yeah.
seal 3-piece wheels. It's just called it's Dowsil is the company, but it's
Yeah.
Dowsil 832.
yeah.
And I'm like, I
It's
just need
so
the
good, I don't even
832.
need to name
Yeah,
it.
It,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to have
We
a
don't
name.
even need a fancy label,
Yeah.
nothing. You just you get what you.
It's just a green tube that says 832 on it. I'm like, that's the shit.
I remember he was doing a wheel. And he put it in there and it splashed one drop gun on his skin. He was running around like it was going to bore a hole through his soul.
It might have.
And if he's listening, he remembers. He had this leather apron or plasticky leather apron with all the big gloves. The shit was fucking gnarly.
I was just texting Tobias.
it's
I was like,
glue.
you need to watch this episode because our friend Tobias, he is a scenic artist for movie sets,
Oh yeah.
and he works a ton with paint. He's like the guy that would patina and paint stuff.
Wow.
So like he did like the new Walking Dead Dead City. He like built all the sets for that. And so like he'll have to make, this room look like it's, been inhabited for 20 years or something. So like all this stuff is right up his alley. Like you gotta log in and watch this. Like all this stuff is so cool.
Well, that's one thing I've been practicing with too. So like for his apron, there's
Yep.
a lot of distressing on it, and I haven't posted a lot of pictures of them. I have like a ton of pictures. This is the most pictures of any cosplay I've gotten on this one in particular, and they're still trickling in, like people sending me pictures of it. But the distressing that I tried to do on his apron, based upon the game references, it's like it doesn't actually show what it
So
is.
is this from a game or a movie?
It was from both.
Oh, they had a Silent Hill movie too, right?
Yeah, there were 2 movies. There's a
I was saying
third
there's
one
a couple,
coming out,
right? It was
and
like the Hillbillies in the Woods, like
for Silent Hill.
yeah,
No,
they-
Silent Hill's like a weird. It's based on like Japanese horror stuff, so it's like just
Oh,
psychological
alright.
horror. It's
Was it like a mental institution or something?
it's kind of like a whole town that they go into. So this guy, for like just a brief overview of him,
Character context.
He's basically like I call him the big bad, but he's not really the big bad in Silent Hill 2. He's a direct mental projection of the main character.
Okay.
Right. And basically he's an incarnation of the person's desire to be punished for like his sins because he realizes that he's a terrible human being, that he did something awful and unforgivable. And the whole game is kind of alluding to what he did. So he
Okay.
is a direct projection of his fears and what he thinks he deserves. But it's also like inherently creepy because the way this dude moves around and dragging a 5-foot knife, it's actually half of a pair of scissors. He's like dragging around and he kind of like slides it around. So like literally when I built the blade, I was looking at a pair of scissors and I was like, okay, if somebody broke off the little round part and if
Yeah, what
somebody
would it
ripped the
look
screw,
like?
What would it look like? And I tried to even grind it.
So
quote,
this
unquote.
is just like this is a giant 3D printed Phillips head screw.
What's Pyramid Head's true purpose?
What's his true purpose?
Yeah.
Well, it's meant to punish James Sunderland for his sins. Like that's it.
Mark looked it up, and now
like
he's questioning.
I
it.
just looked up the character and
Like
I
that-
clicked on one image and it was like Silent Hill remake. What's Pyramid Head's true purpose?
Yeah. like that's basically he's always been interpreted as like he's like the punishment of the main character because there's some other stuff that goes on in the background that like there's certain details on him, like the ring up on the top is meant to be James's wedding band.
Oh.
So it's like and that was kind of the design, but the designer was brilliant because he didn't really reveal what most of the stuff was. He says, "Oh, well, it's up for interpretation." He's like, "But there are clues." And the more you look at it, obviously it's artistic license and creative license, people kind of think of certain things. But he's like a new like modern age horror icon. And I normally don't do popular costumes. I don't do popular characters because I personally feel like if I do him, oh yeah, he's from the movie.
That's in the movie.
Yeah, that's from the movie version. So see, he looks completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's this
But then the game version
very
is
big-
very
Oh,
different.
you need to do some forearm curls before you fucking.
Yeah, I'm like,
Look at
I'm
this
like,
guy's
I'm like,
fucking-
why is bro? So,
Jesus Christ.
So James is like this tiny little dude. He's like this tiny little skinny dude, and you got this guy, Mr. Freaking Giga Chad over here. Like, Mr. I pick things up and put them down all day with this weird crooked scythe blade thing. But I was like, I tried to just. For some reason, I just wanted to do this character. Like, I have a friend, Nick.
It's a cool character.
He's done Pyramid Head for a long time. He does him up on stilts, and everybody knows him as the big, gigantic Pyramid Head. And I'm like, man, that is so cool to be, like, known for something, like these giant builds and stuff like that. And I was like, I want to try my hand at this. Like, I want to try my hand at something that I'm not used to. And, yeah, that's him from the original
That's
game.
him from the original iteration.
Look at
of the
those
game.
pixels.
Oh, yeah. Fucking. It's a lot of mask right there.
Yeah.
That would be obscene to try to wear. That
yeah.
big.
Yeah. And I took what I did is I took the model from the game, and I had a friend who gave me the model from the game, and I looked at the scale, and
So
I tried to match the scale up to myself.
Yeah.
Like, because he's only like
Side profile wise, does yours stick out that much off the front?
No, so it when you walk forward and you kind of tilt your
Yeah,
head
I mean,
back,
he's
I
really
can-
lurched
I
back
can get
like
it
that.
point. So when I was walking around like that and dragging the blade like it was heavy, I was specifically pointing my head back.
Yeah.
So it does make it longer, but most of the time I have the bottom almost propped against my chest.
Yeah, it's like on your
I'm-
sternum,
Like I'm
right?
like kind of looming.
Yeah.
And so like yeah, when you walk like that, it looks bigger, and that's what's creepy about the character is that he's like oddly imposing and kind of creepy, dragging around this 5-foot knife or whatever.
yeah.
But like I tried to get the scale to match, and I was like, all right, so I measured everything out in the game, and I tried to make the blade the exact length that it needed to be, and that's where the annoying attention to detail comes on. Like, oh no, first blade I made a little too long, or the hilt I made too short, and it's annoying. But I wanted my blade to be replaceable. That was like my favorite thing when I told people. I was like, I want my blade to be replaceable because I will break it.
Yeah, if
will
you're
break.
actually dragging it around that building all day, like you're probably gonna break the tip off of it at some point.
So the only time is when I had a friend accidentally step on it and she cracked it.
yeah,
Because I coated it in like 14 coats of wood glue at the tip, and it kind of went side. I just took 2-part epoxy, put it right back. I haven't broken it yet. It's still
Perfect.
good after 20 hours of wearing it, which is awesome. So normally I always have stuff go wrong. This is the first time I've worn a costume. This weekend was the first time I've worn costumes and nothing went wrong. I was
Wow.
I was like, my camera worked great.
Yep.
My
All the
Yeah,
tech
the whole
works.
camera, the tech
the
stuff.
camera thing's
like
great.
literally the
That's
fans.
great.
I was like, oh god. I was like, if the phone stops working and the camera stops working, I can't wear it. Like I literally have to hold it on my shoulder and then put it on my head, take a picture, and take it off. I was
Did
like,
you
that's
have a
gonna suck.
battery pack for your phone? Because I imagine the camera.
I thought about that,
Dude,
John.
it used so for 13 hours, it only used 40% of my battery.
Really?
That's
yeah,
pretty
and
great.
that was like that was a perfect
And
thing.
you're an iPhone guy, right?
Yeah. Yep. And it literally used 40% of my battery. I didn't even have to recharge my phone. I didn't even plug my phone in when I drove home from Boston. I literally was like, nope, I'm just going to go all the way through. So everything, when I say everything worked out, the fans only used like 40% of my battery pack.
Yep.
So I bought the right battery pack. I bought the right fans. I had the right camera, not drawing too much power.
That's pretty cool.
And I even put a splitter on my iPhone so I could have 2 ports so I could
So
actually
you could charge it if you had
Yeah.
to.
I didn't even need to charge it.
That's
I was like,
impressive.
That's freaking sick. I was like, that worked out great.
Because I feel like even when I drive my car where I have my GPS on with my wireless CarPlay, I'm used to like having my phone on a magnetic mount in my truck in my car. It's just wireless CarPlay, and I'm like, man, after I drive an hour, like it just smokes the battery so fast.
Yep.
So the other thing with this, phone wise, I feel like in this community, so many people are Android people. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Oh, yes.
Probably.
Fucking rude.
Because I feel like so many people into like computer stuff and gaming, they like the
freedom of Android.
freedom of Android. Yeah, like all the
freedom?
IT guys I work with.
My Android is side loaded with this and this and this.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I like my phone to just work.
To just work well, yeah.
Please just work.
All the IT guys I work with, they're all like, "Oh, well, I can customize my own software," and I'm like, "To look shitty,
Yeah,
like
look shitty and get hacked.
for your interface to be worse than mine, like that's
Congratulations.
Is that a benefit?
It looks like Windows 98. It
Yeah.
looks great, bro.
Congratulations, you suck in 3 languages. Yeah.
No, it's a really cool character. Now, do you feel the need? Here's the thing that I'm really curious about. Every year, do you feel like, all right, next year I have to be someone different, or is it like I want now? Or now do you feel like now that you've like nailed this character, it's like now you want to perfect a few things on this and do this again next year?
I'm a bit of both. So like there are some characters that are one-offs, like this guy right here. So I did him. He came from.
Yeah, I was saying I don't remember that one.
He
No,
came.
I think you brought that last
so
time.
he's from
I don't
Hellboy.
think so.
Right?
I think you're thinking of.
Oh yeah.
he's
I
Carl.
actually recognize that
He's
one.
Carl Cronin from Hellboy. So
you didn't
he's-
have that last time you were here, right?
I think I already had it made, but I only wore it twice.
Yep.
So he has these cool blades that go with him. He's got this crazy intricate 3D printed chess piece that I did, and I did him, and he's just not a character I want to do a bunch of times. He's super cool in the comics and in the movie, but it's,
Do you need to feel a connection to them to do them?
He's
as
almost
far
like the
as
great
mannerisms?
question.
C-3PO
That's a great
character.
question.
Like
he's well. I mean, he's a Nazi, but you know,
Well.
but he's a villain, and he gets the shit kicked out of him, and it's great because like I love his character design. His character design is creepy. He's basically like a combination between like Darth Vader and kind of like C-3PO, whatever. I love this mask. I think this mask came out great. I can see out of it.
Yeah, the
awesome.
mask is super cool.
But it's like I don't feel awesome while wearing it because like he's not emotive. He's not
yeah,
like really imposing. You kind of just stand there and you just don't really do anything. I like the performance aspect of it.
Wow.
That's why I like the Borderlands stuff because I just act like an unhinged moron when I have these masks on.
the performance art part of it is something you enjoy.
it's something about putting the mask on that changes you as a person.
Yeah, I joke around with my therapist about it, which tells me everything you need to know.
Oh my god, do you wear the masks during therapy?
So-
Because
so
that would be
literally,
amazing.
I'm like, you know what's
you just start
crazy?
switching masks when you have a different feeling.
Yeah, it's like so it's like you have masking, right? So some people naturally mask when they're in like public situations and stuff like this just allows you like to be comfortable and just like be an unhinged maniac, but you're also in the right social situation for
To
it,
be that,
where
yeah.
people are entertained.
Yeah,
by
you're
you
not on the
running
B train acting like a fucking lunatic.
around. So I have like my closest friend who did a Borderlands cosplay too, and people were talking about her all around the convention because she's running around with giant sticks of dynamite, yelling "It's boom time!" And every time I saw her, I'd yell "It's boom time!"
Yeah.
and just act like idiots, and people love it.
Yep.
And it's just so cool to kind of have that because I mean, you do that normally and you act a little.
All right, let's
rambunctious,
say
right?
without the costume, would you still be? No, I'm not being. a
Shouldn't
dick.
yell
Me,
boom
I'm-
time without
no,
the costume.
Right,
I'm
right.
not. I'm
It
very.
changes
I'm,
things,
I'm
yeah.
quiet. I'm reserved in social situations. I don't really talk like John knows me from like when I would talk with Steve and stuff like that and act like
I
an
feel
idiot.
like stuff like this changes the confidence level of a person.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if you see the person looking differently at like being like, what the fuck is like, if he approached me and I'm like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? But it doesn't matter to him because I can't identify who he really is.
Right.
So it's separate. Am I wrong
no,
there?
you're 100%
I always
right.
thought about this with drag queens.
Sure.
Like the amount of confidence it takes, first of all, to just set yourself up for that and then do the whole show. I'm always like, the amount of confidence you have being someone different
And it's levels of confidence, right? So the amount of confidence it takes for someone to get up on stage and perform
in general.
as themselves, right?
Unbelievable.
Then you get up on stage and perform as something that might not be widely accepted as a
Yeah.
drag queen, right? So like
Huge.
now you're going there, and then like you could just keep going from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the confidence level
Where
in
it changes,
it's crazy.
Where it changes in the person's mind is amazing. To me, I think it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Where,
It's like
where
they
you separate
switch
the
off
difference.
and
I think
fucking
that goes
yeah.
to what I was asking before. Like, do you feel like you need to have, like, you didn't feel this one didn't excite you so much because it's just maybe more of a boring persona. Do you need to feel a connection to the character to enjoy it?
So that kind of goes back to me. Like, I don't do popular characters.
Yeah.
I never really do, because it's just like, so the most two popular characters that I do are him.
Yep.
And I do another character called No Face from
Yeah.
Spirited Away.
We talked about that.
Yeah,
one
we did that one
time,
last
I
time.
think. Yep.
And the
This
only
guy.
reason why is because like, so that whole character's backstory.
This one's really
It's
funny.
like a fucked up nun.
Yeah.
So that whole character's backstory is it's a ghost from an anime. It's like a spirit in like a spirit world, and No Face doesn't have a place, right? No Face throughout the entire movie is trying to like take in literally eats and consumes other people.
Yep.
So that way it can fit in, so it can get into a place, and like. It's one of those really weird things where, like, I felt, it's a great movie. It has great morals and stuff like that. But it's like
That was fucking creepy.
I was
my Plague Doctor.
Yeah, that's
The
cool.
Plague Doctor. Yeah.
But No Face is a fun one because people respond so well to it. Because at the end of the movie, like, No Face is like just literally accepted for as it is.
I assume that's you, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's me.
All right.
Did you build the tree?
No, that was a random thing.
a
At
set.
PAX.
I was just
a random photo
I'm like, all
booth.
right, so how's this connected?
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a sick photo booth, man. But like No Face like bribes people in the movie. It literally bribes people with gold. So like I hand out gold to people, and you get people who actually interact and like, I'm not taking that because I know what you're gonna do next. Like you're gonna like consume me or whatever. And I'm like, it's so cool to have that performance aspect, and you have the audience play in. But it's
And they
also,
know
like,
it, yeah.
The character is just so like that was at Anime Boston last year, but it was like. Seeing that engagement is so cool when people actually engage. But then you have people on the opposite side. So like in Pyramid Head, I have people like, oh, that thing's fucking weird. They know what it is, but they're kind of like being dicks.
Yeah.
So then I just can like turn and just kind of look at them and stare off with them.
Yeah.
And they get a couple of they
ominous.
walk away and I'm
Yeah.
just like,
If you go to a cosplay event like that and you look at someone and say, well, that's fucking weird. Why are you there?
Yeah.
I was
Why
just
the
thinking
fuck
that.
are you there?
I'm here to play Call of Duty, bro.
Like,
Seriously.
There's
Like,
no
what are
AAA
you
game
doing
studios
there?
here, bro. It sucks.
oh my god, I thought the same thing, Ryan.
But that's what I
I was
again,
like, what is with people fucking just being fucking douchebags?
And you know what? What was crazy is I didn't really have at PAX. So PAX is kind of transitioned. So the video game industry now, they're not sending a ton of people to conventions. The budgets are smaller.
Yeah.
Video game industry is in a really bad spot right now
Is
in
it
terms
really?
of like
Yeah.
confidence. Like people are not happy. Like game devs are overworked. They cut down their marketing budget, and COVID was the perfect excuse to do it. So PAX, right when COVID hit, the first week that we had a COVID case in Boston was PAX weekend. So everybody was freaked the fuck out at PAX. So AAA studios pulled out. So like Activision, so Call of Duty pulled out, Battlefield pulled out. Everybody pulled out. And it was one of the best times I had because there was space and the crowd changed. You went from a bunch of
Corporate.
corporate, and then like the people who were like just the straight up douchebags didn't show up. And it was just a bunch of people who were there for community to have a good time because PAX has such a good community of like all walks of life, and they're so welcoming.
And this is in Boston or Providence?
It's Boston.
Boston.
And like since then, AAA studios have had a hard time coming back because they cut all the budgets, but they're increasing game prices. So and they're overworking people. They're doing all kinds of stuff. Video game industry sucks right now.
I'll say all they're doing is just putting the next version of the same game.
How
out.
much is it for a game right now?
Now, Nintendo's going up to like $80 for
Yeah,
a game
Andrew's
now.
pulling
insane.
68 or $70 a
Yeah,
game.
For what system?
PS5.
for pretty much all of them now. And now the new game price is probably going to be like $80, if not more, for a game, which is crazy.
They sat at 60 for a while though. It was like
60
50
for a long time.
For
Yeah, it was like
years.
$49.99 to $59.99 for a very long time.
Years, at least 15 years. I
And
feel
like I get it. If that's what you need to do to pay
Yeah.
people, I get it. But when you start cutting marketing budgets and
Yeah.
things like that, and you start pulling out,
Or you're not paying your people more.
yeah, and people,
that's what it is with stuff like events like this. Like
Yeah.
that's like people are gonna be like, I'm not gonna go to that.
Well,
now.
people get mad at the price
Yeah.
of PAX because the price of PAX hasn't really changed. They're just getting mad like, oh, it's not worth the money because I don't get to play AAA games. I don't get to go
Yeah.
see a Call of Duty.
yeah.
PAX wasn't designed for these huge video game studios. It was there for hardware, so like your PC companies, your stuff like that. And then they brought in like a lot of like the indie studios, these small studios that this is their marketing.
Yeah.
One-on-one FaceTime, try our games, a lot of tabletop games, and a lot of people just trying to sell their product versus just you're buying a name. So now you get a different crowd. So people bitch and moan and complain and say, oh, I don't get to see these AAA studios. You're charging these prices, blah, blah, blah.
What do you need to see about Call of Duty?
Yeah, I'm gonna go play
Call of Duty
God damn it, I was
47. It's the same shit.
It's
the same game that it's been for 20
and
years.
it's great.
It's a military-based game.
Black Green Ops
yeah,
Special Ed
like-
Warfare Edition 3.71.
Are people dressing up like characters from that game? Like what do you,
like Call of Duty?
No, right? Of course not.
You'll see people
Are
from
you
other
not
games
just killing people at this point?
I'm
What are we
that's
doing?
what I'm saying. I'm just like this.
and the communities are very different, and it translates into the crowd. Your crowd becomes different. So I've been going, like I said, I've been going to PAX for like 12 years, 13 years. This is probably the first or second best time I've ever had at PAX in a 4-day weekend.
Wow.
Not only because I'm surrounded by great company and because of other personal life stuff, but it's like I'm surrounded by great company, and the crowd is so welcoming. They're these open-minded people who are all about like, you know, people's rights and people's rights to enjoy themselves wherever they go, and they're just so accommodating. And like I said, people just wanting to talk shop. That was the thing that I wanted. Like, hey, ask questions. I'll ask questions about you. Ask questions to me.
Yeah.
And let's have a dialogue. Some years I go there and they're just like, picture, walk away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like I like talking to these people. I have photographers like, no, come over here. We'll take a better picture of you over here. Where do you want to go take a picture? Where do you want to do this? What are you doing today? Do you want to hang out? Do you want to do
Yeah.
It's like, it's a community.
Yep.
And that's what
Yep.
a lot of people, because a lot of people do struggle. Like I've historically struggled with social anxiety. So masking has been a part of that.
Sure.
I don't cosplay without masks. I've never done a single cosplay without a mask, ever. Now it's just because it's fun. I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
But like it used to be a coping mechanism. Like
Do
a
you
coping
think it would be
strategy.
easier now?
It's
without a
funny
mask
because you'd never know
you've
that
done it?
because you're honestly one of the most well-spoken, outgoing people we've had on the show.
So now we think you're just full of shit.
You know, like I was saying, like John and I,
Yeah,
I
for
always,
sure.
I always go
Yeah.
back to Steve. Like,
Yeah.
like Steve was such a good friend, and we talked about this at length. Like we talked about struggling with being open and being accepting and things like that. And Steve was one of those people who just brought you in and just made you feel like you were super important. You were his best friend in that moment, and he gave me a lot of advice, and that carries with me. And not a lot of
Yeah.
people say that about like their
when
tattoo
you're
artists.
when
and
you're
it's like,
sitting with getting tattooed for 3+ hours with a person, like, and with Steve, that's how it was. Like, you were the most important thing to him in that time that you were in that room with him. And
I feel like those
it
people,
was an unbelievable experience.
people who can make people feel that way in a short time. 3 hours is a short
yeah.
time.
Yep.
You know, I it's a gift they have, honestly. Like there's a few people in my life that I'm like, man, every time I talk to this person, they make you feel like you're number one.
Yeah.
yeah.
And not intentionally. It's just how
That's just their demeanor.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, Steve is part of the reason why I started getting into like actual art, like trying to do this, because I
Yeah.
would talk to him. He used to have a lot of like Japanese ghost story books that he would let me borrow, like the yokai and the yurei books. He would let me borrow them, and I go into them, and I'm like, Steve, I want to kind of try this and do this with his art, and I would see how it translated and how he did it, and I would always ask because I'm so curious. Like I'm so curious about people who I put on a pedestal and how they achieve the things they achieve. So I had people ask me how I do the Borderlands stuff. And I just told them, I was like, you just do it. And I was like, and let me explain to you how. I was like, a basic mask like this. So I'd pop the mask off my face. And I was like, so the regular mask color is 3 tones. You pick a neutral tone, you pick a highlight tone, and a shadow tone. And you just go with it. Don't blend them, just go.
Yeah.
Think about where the shadows are, think about where the highlights are, and just go with it. And people are like, it's really that easy. I'm like, well, look. I was like, look at the symbol. It's a dark purple. There's a mid purple, and then there's a highlight purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you have to do is 3. That's the best way to start, because they're like, I want to do Borderlands. I want to do that. And I was like, just try it. I was like, you will not like it the first time you do it. Even this, there's 3 kinds of purple. There's a dark,
Yeah.
there's a middle, and then there's a highlight. And then if this is facing down, shadows at the bottom, lights at the top. That's all you have to do.
I feel like it's the line work at the end that
The black.
that's what probably kills it, because it's like you
the
put a
black
black
line.
line in a spot that you don't like. All of a sudden, it's like, well, gonna paint that over
Oh, the
again.
black lines are so much fun, because then I tell people, I was like, you cannot screw them up. They can go anywhere you want. Borderlands' art style changed. So if you look at the mask I have with all the spikes,
Yeah.
there's
This one?
there's not much line work.
Yep.
Right? There's a few highlight lines where you have some other tones.
Yep.
Now if you go to like the other image,
Look at those nipples. No.
thank you. They're beautiful, I know. But if you
On that same post.
No, if you scroll down a
Glorious.
little more, so
Glorious.
it's with the orange pants up a little higher, a tiny bit higher on the left. You look at that mask.
Oh yeah.
That's the mask I hated. This is the redesigned version of it.
I was gonna say that's very
I
similar.
literally
yeah.
took and if you look at that post was literally about that because all I could think about was like I hated this thing so much.
That reminds me of like a fucked up Star Wars.
And
character.
I went back and I was like, dude, I love this. And the boots I made, those are actual boots covered in foam, covered in all kinds of like crazy shit. And I was like, I'm gonna make this thing look like it's welded. There's actual duct tape on it. I put plates
Can
on
I put this on?
Yeah.
You cool with that?
Slap it on your nugget. See if it works. I got a tiny head.
I do too, so it's perfect.
But I was like, it's just kind of like, there you go. Oh, wow. Beauteous.
That's nice.
You can see fucking better out of this than I thought.
See?
This is what I've been dying about. I'm like,
I
gotta
told
see
you.
it.
I try to make it practical, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
But that's how I was walking around all day on, that was Friday. And I had no problem seeing. I mean, breathing was a little.
Light.
Yeah. I try, man. I try to make things for comfort. And I try to do that for the people that I make things for.
On TV, it's not that bad.
But like,
well, I picked up that hinged mask. We'll talk about that in a minute. That is so light.
that's all foam. That's why.
Yeah.
It's so light. That's all carved foam.
Yeah, that's so. This is all like EVA foam plates. So there's probably again from the foam templates. There's so many layers of foam.
Yeah.
On this that are layered up, and I blend them in with like foam clay. So it's actually a clay that you can push into the corners and actually form like actual clay.
Wow.
And then it hardens into a foam, and then there's latex on top of it. And then like the veins I did in foam clay as well. I just hand rolled it into veins and try to make it look like veins and arteries.
And do you have to
and stuff.
glue those on, or will they stick on when
Well,
they're still?
they stick right on.
That's
So like I
cool.
just push them down a little bit, and after I form it, and there's other latex pieces that are on that are like actual like skin, and there's like
Now, is that one a character?
no, this one was
This is
honestly.
just-
So this was a free template that was out there for a hinged mask design. So there's a top and bottom jaw. I like hand did the tongue, so
Yeah,
the tongue's
tongue's
all
cool.
like hand formed and like,
That's
like
awesome.
yummy. But like all the teeth are just they're hand carved foam and stuff like that. And then I wanted to try like random latex stuff, so I cast some latex and I carved it and I burnt
Yeah.
it and made it look like flesh.
How long would that particular one take you to make? If you
I
had
would
to guess.
So the foam work was quick. It's just all the other stuff so the foam work I could probably do in a day, and then you wait for the foam clay to dry for.
But that's like
24 to
working
48
on it
hours.
all day.
Yeah. And then it's like, obviously I go in with the Dremel and I do the detail pieces and I try to add like marks, and then over here I hit it with a wire brush, like just a regular brass wire brush to give it like the porous texture of bone.
Yep.
And then I use a hot knife to add carvings and stuff like that. And then I added all the other pieces, and then the painting is what takes forever. And then I added the fur, and it kind of evolves because usually I was just going to do the hinged mask.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to add a tongue because a tongue looks cool. All right, now I'm going to paint underneath it, make it look like the underside of the tongue. Now I'm going to add some flesh. Now I'm going to add all the crazy teeth. And I'm
It's
going
the
to
while you're in there disease, right?
Yeah.
So you're, well, I'm in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me get in there and do the-
You're right.
I
Yeah,
might
you're
as well. I'm in that zone.
If I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it.
And then like I was like, oh, you know what? It needs blood. So I run like fake blood through all the hair. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's what it needs. And
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
have like 2 gallons of fake blood in my garage at all times.
You're,
Shit.
I don't see a difference. All right.
you look great. You look fantastic.
Have you worn that one yet?
Cat's gonna love it.
So
So is your jaw moving the bottom? Oh yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
What up, bitch?
So
You look like the Beetlejuice character there when he pulls his face out. Yeah.
Wow.
So I made that one, and I wore it for all the 20 minutes on Halloween this year to win a costume contest at work.
Nice.
And that's the only time I wore it.
I was like, you better have cleaned fucking house. Let's all even say.
So it's so bad. So they give you 3
What is it?
PTO days. It was so bad that like 4 or 5 years ago, they had to add other categories for other people.
Because you kept fucking
I kept
smoking the
winning.
competition. He's got 200 PTO days.
Hey, man.
I was like,
That's awesome.
come on, bros.
Karen from accounting shit herself. Yeah.
I walked in with the stilts one time. They're like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I'm over here moving the rack. I'm
Who
moving
brought the
jaw,
ringer?
Because
Yeah.
that one has a movable jaw too. So I'm like talking to people. I'm walking up to people, ducking into their offices, and it has articulated fingers too.
Yeah, that one's
So my
super
fingers are
creepy.
like this long.
The guy in the
they're
sheet
like-
with the 2 holes, like, come on.
yeah, somebody dressed up like an inflatable, and I'm literally like that one has a cane. It has like a glowing freaking pendant in the center that kept getting wrapped
Insane.
up in my ghillie suit.
Insane.
But like, yeah, the fingers are like this long. They're all 3D printed hinges that are like this long. So as I close my fingers, they move, and I
Oh,
can
that's
grip
fucked
stuff and
up.
everything. Oh, it freaks people out so bad.
How many times? How often do you wear that one?
I've worn that one twice.
Jeez.
So I'm gonna rebuild the stilts. So I'm gonna rebuild
Make
the
them more
stilts
comfortable.
with springs and everything. So I'm actually gonna put like actuators in there, so that way I can actually take a load on it.
No shit.
Because every
yeah.
time I sat still, which was a lot in a costume that big, because everybody's like, "Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture?"
Yeah.
And anytime you stop in a costume people like,
it's like you're there for 20 minutes.
And you have
Yeah.
no give.
And I'm literally sitting there like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, it's like you're just standing on a piece of wood, pretty much.
And
yeah.
and if you buy digitigrade stilts, which are the ones where the heel goes backwards, like basically it looks like a dog's leg.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I built. It's basically like, I think they're like $900 something for the movie quality ones, and then I'd have to make the feet, and I'd have to make the feet work. And all
You
sorts
gotta
of
get-
stuff.
you gotta
3D
get those
printed
drywall
parts?
stilts.
Holy
Well, that's
shit.
what my friend Nick uses. He uses drywall stilts, but those are straight.
Those
Yeah.
are straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted the ones where the actual back ankle is, because it looks creepy when you're walking because it
Right.
looks like you're leaning forward. That's why I have. That's another reason why I have
yeah,
the cane,
see?
so I can
See?
lean forward and I can kind of like almost like crawl towards people, and they find it really unsettling.
Oh, that's
Those
fucking
ones that you built,
creepy.
is it 3D printed parts or no?
So it's all 2020 and 2040 profile aluminum, like
Okay.
the aluminum rails that I cut to length,
Yep.
and I built them on an angle, and I built them adjustable.
Yep.
So my foot position, basically, I bolted shoes to it.
Yep.
And then I can slide it in and out, so I can adjust the height and I can adjust the angle.
Okay.
So I just basically unscrew a couple of screws. I have like the little like socket wrench attached to
Oh,
the
yeah,
side,
yeah.
so I
Yep.
can pop them off and loosen them, change the angle, and adjust them in
Oh,
real time
that's
if I
cool.
want to. And they have locking nuts all on them, so that way it doesn't loosen up while I'm walking.
Yep. Yep.
But they support up to my shins, but now I need to come up to my thighs, and I need to I have like a steel cable that comes out from behind them to keep them in
my
place.
God.
And yeah,
Where are you getting ready for this? Like, obviously, it's not in your car.
right in the con hall. Like, so this one, I bring in a giant Sterilite tote with the stilts in it. I drag it behind me, and then I throw my jacket and all my clothes in it, because underneath that I have a Camelback filled with water.
Yep.
Runs up into the helmet.
Oh
so I
my
can actually sit there,
God.
because I'm not taking off the fucking helmet every
No,
20
you're
minutes.
right. Yeah.
So I
no,
have a
oh
giant,
my
and it
gosh.
adds to the humpback, so I look a
Holy
little more
shit.
unhinged. I change out, I throw that in, put that in coat check, and then I just walk around the convention all day.
Put that coat check.
Coat check. I'm literally like, hey guys, here's this Sterilite tote. It's a big.
You're gonna need a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. And that's how some of us do it. We come in with Sterilite
Now,
totes.
this event here you were at, how many days was that?
That was PAX. That was PAX in, what was that, 20?
You dressed like that for
that was
2023.
2 years ago. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did that for a day. This one
For
I
a
could only
day,
do for a
yeah.
day because my toes were jacked up that day.
So
were
do you
there the
stay
whole-
in the city when you go for these 4-day things, or
Nope.
you go home every
I
night?
drive every day.
Yeah.
Just
So
to save money.
So
Yeah.
with the PAX is a how many day event?
4.
So what did you do the other days? After
I did like a Borderlands one.
Okay, all
I
right.
did actually I think I did him. No, I did him at Rhode Island Comic
that?
Con.
Has anyone ever seen you out of costume at PAX? Do they even know who you are?
No.
That's
Most
awesome.
people when they pop
I
my
think that's fantastic.
I think a few
That's the
people,
best part
A
to
few
me.
people who I popped the mask off, they're like, "Oh, that's not what I expected," and I was like, "I'm sorry."
What the fuck does that mean?
Literally, I'm like, what? I was like, I'm sorry that
Am I
Quasimodo
better
popped
looking
off
than
of
you
my
thought?
friend.
Do you expect moles?
Elephant Man
Like,
over
what are we
here.
thinking? Yeah,
Bastard.
yeah. Igor.
Literally, like freaking sloth from the goose. Hey, you guys! Surprise! Another cosplay underneath. Like, oh my god. But no, I've had people like, oh, I've never really like seen your face before, and I'm like, that's the idea.
That's kind of why I make the masks.
yeah. Sheesh.
Spoiler alert.
So I'm gonna rewind a touch. How many full-scale builds have you done?
Oh god.
Overrun doesn't be exact. Like
I
Oh, we
10
need
or 50. Like, where are we at?
We need exact.
20-ish.
Oh, shit.
I want to say 20. And some of and that's the worst part is like so for the longest time I didn't post a lot of pictures of the stuff that I did. I just kind of went and did a one-off day.
Do you have a special one-off closet where they live?
I have one-off totes.
Yeah.
They're in a rack. They're on like
my
a muscle
God.
rack in the basement.
Can you imagine being his like cleaner and you open the door and all these fucking masks looking?
You know what the worst part is like right now. So on my 3D printer shelf, I have two 3D printers that run side by side. I have a laser cutter and I have
Jeez.
another 3D printer on the bottom. Top shelf is full of masks. I make masks for fun. I make masks, helmets, whatever. and
Stuff
they're
that
just
you're like
everywhere.
never gonna use at PAX.
Never.
Yeah. You
I have
just
so
make 'em
many.
to make 'em.
I probably have 12 half-made builds right now.
And you don't sell them or anything?
I do sometimes if people. So for PAX this year, there were a couple of friends of mine that do Borderlands. They do the Psychos, which are like the masks that I didn't like. They use the plastic masks that were given away a few years ago at the big panel.
But then they end up like repainting them and they suck.
Yeah, and they're not comfortable and they don't feel awesome in them and they want to like pay me to make them. So I actually brought 2 with me that I handmade for them and I surprised them at PAX because I knew the panel was happening. I knew there was going to be some very well known like people who work for Gearbox and 2K there.
Yeah.
I want my friends to like look their best, so I just gifted them masks. Normally I charge like whatever, like $150 for them, which is like
still way too cheap.
That sounds cheap.
Literally
That sounds
a
very
quarter of
cheap.
what other people charge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, guys, just take it, have it.
Yeah,
I
it's
want
like,
you guys to be happy.
That's paying you $7 an hour.
Yeah,
probably to make
I'm
them.
like, guys, I just want you to be happy. Like, I want you guys
Yeah.
to feel happy, satisfied, confident. And their moods immediately changed because one person was like, I didn't have my mask. Another person was like, oh, did you make my mask? And I was like, I don't know if I made your mask. Here you go. But I do make props for people. I'm told that I charge way too little when I do it.
Yeah.
I was like, but I don't do it commercially. I do it for fun. So I'm not going to charge if I'm enjoying myself. Like,
Yeah.
if it sucks, yeah. I mean, how do you put a price on like cost of painting per hour? How do you put a cost on cost of sanding per hour or whatever? It's more so like if I'm enjoying the project, I'll work on it, and pretty much everybody gets friend price because I
Yeah.
do it for fun. Because one, it helps me practice. Two, I don't do it on a huge scale, so I want people to feel confident and do their best. And the fact that people even ask me is like, they get a little tear in my eye. It was like, why do you want me to do it? Like,
Yeah.
there's better people.
Yeah, it's not like you're doing 50 of these a month or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then people are like, no, I really want you to do it because that's what I want you to do. And I'm like, oh man, god damn it.
Because the other part of that question was like, so concept to you're wearing it timeline. Like if you decide, okay, this year I want to be this particular character,
Oh.
it's going to look at this. This is where I want to go completely different. Everything's different from what you've had before.
So I have ADHD, so
We don't count the obsessing hours.
hyperfixation kicks in. Like if I don't have a deadline, like PAX, if PAX is like, next year's PAX is right now like 10 months out. It's next March.
He ain't worried about it.
Exactly. It'll be like 2 weeks before, and I'm like, fuck, I should probably do something new, huh? And then I'll literally rapid surge through stuff.
Okay.
So I have
I
constant.
can appreciate that because
That's a real. Would you say you
I
have
run the
ADHD?
same issue.
Yeah, that's real shit.
Oh, it sucks.
My cousin and shit, same deal. Like she's like, yeah, I got a paper due. I'm like, when's it due? Be like 5 months in advance. She's like,
I won't
I'm like,
finish
you
any.
should probably.
I won't
No,
finish
it'll
anything
be
unless
like,
I have a deadline.
It'll be like the week of, and then she's up for the last 2 nights. Just
I'll
doing
mainline
shit.
Red Bull for 72 hours, and I will literally just whoosh.
Oh, yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
No, Cassie was up until like 2 in the morning last night. I was like, I'm going to bed at 11. I asked her this morning, like, what time do you come to bed? I don't know, like 1 a.m.
Oh my god, what's she doing?
Studio stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, but it was just like, we've just had a busy week and we've talked about it a bunch.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm gonna stay up and just crush my work tonight. I'm like,
crunch time.
I think it's.
I can't do it.
I honestly think it's like for me, it's a balance between uncontrollable and it's a subconscious challenge.
Yeah.
Like I want to see how quickly I can.
Do you think you
something.
work better under pressure?
Oh my god! Yeah.
I feel like some of the most creative people I know, that's the only way they get
If I
shit
have
done.
more tasks, I work way better.
even at work, I'm like, give me a
Yeah.
deadline. Give me a day that you need this, and it will get done.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
promise
Exactly,
you.
yeah.
No,
And
with-
like it could be like 4 days, and I'm like, no, I got it. And they're like, you sure? I've been doing
Yeah.
this for a long time. I
Yeah.
got it. Like
That's
I know
the same
how
way
I
with
work.
my freelance stuff with graphic design. It's like people are like, no rush. And I'm like, you're telling a graphic designer no rush? That's a kiss of death.
See you next year.
That means
Having a
I'm,
Red Bull?
yeah.
That means
Wait,
That
great
just
car
means
ride
I'm
home.
going to forget that you asked me to do
exactly.
this.
I
That means I
forgot.
don't work for you anymore.
Yeah. They're like, no, if you don't need this by Friday, it's not even on my radar.
So, but to answer the question, so Pyramid Head was what I would call a quick build for me. So I built the whole helmet. I could probably put all together, like all the foam together in a day and put all that together, get it all cut out. I use the laser to cut out templates. So I'll actually take
Do you
the
have like a
templates-
glow forge or something?
No, I don't even go that hard. So all I have is a small it's like basically a CNC router. So it's just X and Y.
Okay.
I load in the foam strips. I pre-cut the foam strips to fit in. They go onto a panel, and I just hit it because I can't afford a glow forge. I want one.
Yeah,
but
those things are like $4,000, right?
yeah. But like I just have a basic like $400 one. It's probably like I think it's like 900 by 900 millimeters. I just cut out the foam, put it in, and I take the PDFs and I just convert it, and I just go into Photoshop and I draw the lines. It's straight.
Instead of one giant panel, you have two small ones, right?
Yeah, and I go
What
in.
do you
and
have
I'm-
to? What your files you export as like an SVG file?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Exactly. And then I go through and I just hit print and I cut through.
So you essentially need vector line work.
Yeah.
Yep.
And instead of so typically what you would do with a foam is you would print it all out in 50 pages for something that big. You print it out in a bunch of pages. You tape all the pages together. You cut them all out. Then you draw them on the foam. Then you cut them out of the foam. So
Yep.
my whole job and my whole mentality is how do I do this as easy as humanly
possible.
I just take the template, load it in, and I go, what pieces can I fit on this? What pieces do I have to glue together, tape together, and cut out? Use the laser to pre-cut it.
Yep.
And instead of cutting all the way through, because then you get a taper, So if you're cutting through 10 millimeter foam, you're going to get a taper from the cone of the laser. So instead of doing multiple passes and stepping it down, I just light it and I just basically line out the templates. It labels the numbers, and then I cut it out with a ceramic like box cutter, basically.
Yeah, like an X-Acto knife.
And then I just Dremel because I like the dremeling part.
Yeah,
I
the
like
Dremel-
carving.
Dremel's
I
nice.
like doing
Yeah.
that and beveling everything.
So the foam is more of a solid foam than like a soft cell.
Yeah,
foam.
it's
Okay.
well, if you feel this, it's that's literally all it is. It's just foam.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's just it's high density
Yep.
closed cell
Yep.
foam versus like an upholstery foam. So the laser cuts through it pretty well. I can cut through anything like 6 millimeters in one shot. I can cut through 10, but it makes a cone, so everything has a taper to it, and everything basically gets heat.
It
sealed.
doesn't sit right.
For
So-
reference, for listeners who aren't measurement people, 10 millimeters is a little less than a half inch.
Just Google it.
Yeah. Well, we talk about 3D printers too, so I got some fun 3D printers. One now prints at 0.07 millimeters per layer height.
Oh,
so,
wow.
So basically, the thickness of a human hair per layer
That's
is the best
insane.
that I can print at. Like per layer to
But
build up.
that way, you're not getting a bunch of like shitty grooves.
But it takes so long to print.
I
I'd
was just
rather
gonna
just
say it
sand
must take fucking forever.
Yeah.
And then the resin printers, the resin printer I have at home prints at 0.02 millimeters per layer.
How long does that take?
Let's
just like
depends on the height of the part. So for resin, it depends on the height of the part. For FDM, which is where it takes the plastic and it melts it and it builds it up layer by layer, that's depending on how much surface area you're taking up. So something like this,
Yeah.
if I print it in one piece and I do it at average time, it's probably on my printer goes like 1,000 millimeters a second. So it's probably 5 hours, 6 hours.
How long would this take?
Oh, the rock dick? Yeah.
Dwayne the Cock Johnson.
Dwayne the Cock Johnson. That could probably take. I could probably do that in like an hour on my printer at home.
Dicks in an hour, everybody.
The Dickosaurus, yes. You know how many of those I printed?
I can't even imagine.
Why can't you?
You know how many of those I printed?
What are they gonna shut us off?
At this point,
So that bad boy, I could probably print that boy in like 3 hours. I printed so many Dickosaurus Rexes. I've literally like, I've glued him to people's like hoods before. I've
you
done
should
all
give them
kinds
to
of
the
stuff with
Jeep
those.
people like the ducks.
Exactly. That was kind of my mentality.
I like it.
I was like, what could we do? Who could take over the Dickosaurus Rex and just brand that as like a car brand? But like I printed so much crazy shit. Like it and it's 3D printing in itself is fun, and it's so like accessible now that anybody can learn it, which is pretty sick.
I've been ignoring the chat for a while. Brent Newton Block, morning
morning
from
from
New Zealand.
Wow.
Whoa.
I would love to go to New Zealand.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
let's
what's
out
up,
there.
Brent?
New Zealand, man.
Thanks for checking in. Awesome. Craig.
That's our
is
first
John
New
drinking a Red
Zealand
Bull?
listener.
I think, yeah. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
so.
drinking a Red Bull.
Is he like questioning for real, or is he just going back to me questioning you?
No, I think that's for
I
real.
was gonna say, is he like concerned? He's like, why is John drinking a Red Bull? Mark, what's he doing?
Craig pretends to be concerned about John during the podcast. Big brother energy.
He don't give a fuck. Feigned concern. But
Yeah, so you got Anime Boston coming up.
Yep.
What characters are you going to do with that, or is that a secret?
So Anime Boston is.
Or can we get the exclusive?
So Anime Boston is, and if anybody I know is listening, who they probably are, Anime Boston is my least favorite convention.
It seems like you're pretty
Is it
open
because
about.
you're
Let
not
me-
such much an anime
Let
guy? Or?
me explain. Like I will say that I viscerally fucking hate Anime Boston, and the reason
But you're
why
going to go.
But the only reason I go is because of my friends, right? Like, because of people I know and
You
people
gotta
I care about
respect
who go. I go for them. And so it's in the Prudential Center. It's in the Heinz Convention Center in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
So the Pru is pretty nice. You got the little public garden that you can go into. Anime Boston is an overpriced, dog shit, tiny little convention in the Heinz Convention Center that oversold last year on Saturday to the point where I couldn't move, and I was in a regular cosplay. The people there are not nice. They are not kind. They're very superficial.
Boston people?
It's people from all over.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God. And everybody is the center of their own universe to the point where, like, how dare you breathe the same air as me? But it's like, bro, you're like 13. Stop. And it's like an all ages kind of one, but it's all ages and it seems to bring out the worst people. Whereas PAX, it's like kids with their dads, kids with their families. They just want to have a good time. Me scaring the shit out of small children is Pyramid Head.
Oh, that sounds
Always a
delightful.
bonus.
But like, I just, so Anime Boston, I'm going for a day.
Craig's right.
Is it?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's frozen.
Oh no. What happened?
The usual.
Who are we blaming?
Craig.
The internet's.
I don't know.
Craig.
Did you unplug it?
Craig's to blame.
Oh yeah, it's frozen on that end.
Yeah. Let's see here.
That's weird that the chat's still going.
Yeah, that is weird. Huh.
Hmm.
Oh no.
Let's see.
I mean, we're still recording.
Is
It's
what it
just
is.
Yeah.
stupid
That's
YouTube
life.
stream.
Damn you, YouTube.
Yep.
But yeah, Anime Boston, I'll be lobby conning is what it's affectionately known as, which basically will be walking around the Prudential Center as Pyramid Head and, being awkward and being creepy because I'm somewhat out of place, but people will enjoy it because apparently he's a thirst trap, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that Pyramid Head was a I was warned by my friend Nick. He's had his ass grabbed a few times, and
I'm here for it.
Craig, what happened? Some people
boy.
looking awful.
Someone's in a rough position. I can't see it from here. My eyes are not what they used to be.
Looks like I'm not even on the screen.
You're not. You took a pee.
That was a while ago because I'm about ready to pee again.
I don't know when this is. Yeah, it's a terrible look. Craig's right. Terrible look.
Terrible look for you.
I know who. Thanks, pal. Thanks.
Was
for
he
pointing
in
that out.
mask?
Don't wet your pants, jackass.
Oh man.
We love technical issues. It's great.
Obviously, we must still have audio. I feel like that's a dumb question, but
Yeah, I still got to confirm.
yeah.
I'm not gonna see it on the screen, so we got audio. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're so deep in, we're not going to fuck
at
with
this
it
point.
now.
We're still a podcast, damn it.
Yeah.
We still matter.
Audio is what it's all about.
Yeah.
I don't know where Craig is, but
He ran. He was like, I can't watch them. I'm out of here. Absolutely not. Mid without video.
when he's not involved, he helps the ratings.
People tune in to not hear him.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, great, that Craig
That was Craig. Oh fuck! I shut this thing off. Shit.
Interesting.
All right. So is there? I'll get back.